where my heart is, and I'ma go hard regardless. Yeah, I'ma go hard regardless. Yeah, running my check, I ran on my bag, I did what I did. Yeah, running my check, I ran on my bag, I did what I did. Yeah, and how good they judge me, oh, but they
They're
don't know.
setting Dylan Gabriel up to take the biggest L out of
Look how far I came, dog. I ain't had no guidance. I just did my thing, dog. I just went my hardest, and I'ma go hard regardless. Yeah, I'ma go hard regardless. Yeah, running my check, I ran on my bag, I did what I did. Yeah, running my check, I ran on my bag, I did what I did. Yeah, and how good they judge me, oh, but they don't know. Look at what I did, look at what I started. Look how far I came, dog. I ain't had no guidance. I just did my thing, dog. I just went my hardest, and I'ma go hard regardless. Yeah, I'ma go hard regardless. Yeah, running my check, I ran on my bag, I did what I did. Yeah, running my check, I ran on my bag, I did what I did. Yeah, and how good they judge me, oh, but they
They're
don't know.
setting Dylan Gabriel up to take the biggest L out of
Look how far I came, dog. I ain't had no guidance. I just did my thing, dog. I just went my hardest, and I'ma go hard regardless. Yeah, I'ma go hard regardless. Yeah, running my check, I ran on my bag, I did what I did. Yeah, running my check, I ran on my bag, I did what I did. Yeah, and how good they judge me, oh, but they don't know. Look at what I did, look at what I started. Look how far I came, dog. I ain't had no guidance. I just did my thing, dog. I just went my hardest, and I'ma go hard regardless. Yeah, I'ma go hard regardless. Yeah, running my check, I ran on my bag, I did what I did. Yeah, running my check, I ran on my bag, I did what I did. Yeah, and how good they judge me, oh, but they
They're
don't know.
setting Dylan Gabriel up to take the biggest L out of
Look how far I came, dog. I ain't had no guidance. I just did my thing, dog. I just went my hardest, and I'ma go hard regardless. Yeah, I'ma go hard regardless. Yeah, running my check, I ran on my bag, I did what I did. Yeah, running my check, I ran on my bag, I did what I did. Yeah, and how good they judge me, oh, but they don't know. Look at what I did, look at what I started. Look how far I came, dog. I ain't had no guidance. I just did my thing, dog. I just went my hardest, and I'ma go hard regardless. Yeah, I'ma go hard regardless. Yeah, running my check, I ran on my bag, I did what I did. Yeah, running my check, I ran on my bag, I did what I did. Yeah, and how good they judge me, oh.
What is going on, everybody? What is going on? Happy Wednesday. Let me get on the screen. Let's get this down. All right, there we go. We here. Another wonderful day. Let me do my sound check on my end so we can get this thing going and I can be focused, locked in, not distracted. Let me just knock this out real quick. There we go. Sound is good. Now let me shut this down over here so I'm not distracted. Making sure I'm giving y'all all the attention that you deserve. Hit that like button on the way in, y'all. Hit that like button on the way in. Hit it on the way in. We got a good one for y'all. We have a good one for y'all today. So, Jason Lloyd is talking again. We're going to get to that a little bit. Less on Jason Lloyd, more on the football side of the conversation. So that should be fun. Fernando Mendoza is a very interesting prospect. If you say anything unflattering or what someone would deem as unflattering about Fernando Mendoza, people take it a certain way. So we're going to get to that. Shannon Sharpe is going to break down the difference between when he worked with Skip versus when he worked with Stephen A. Smith, which I think is very interesting because we're kind of at a point where the media landscape is changing right before our eyes. And if you don't pay attention, it'll kind of just blow by. You won't see it. Then we're going to get to comment creeping. We're bringing that back. We got some slides. Y'all know during the season, Wednesdays, I used to do film until they started striking me down. So we got some slides. We're bringing back some film. And then I'm going to give you my 3 things that I want to see Shedeur improve going into next year. And I'm going to back that up with actual slides from football games. Because remember, the point of this is football. We're going to get to it. So we're going to do all that in today's stream. It's going to be a great stream. You are now tuned in to Eliminate the Gray with OffThaRecordDee. This is a podcast style. You're going to get some topics. You're going to get some motivation. You'll get some laughs. You'll get some humor. You're going to get some education. You're going to get some of everything. So this is not the, if this is your first time here, sit back, relax. I'm going to keep you entertained for a couple hours a day, most likely as you go through your workday. So we're going to get to it. One thing we always do is when we show up at somebody's house, we greet them on the way in. So we're going to greet everybody as they come in. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Hit that like button as I'm going through the greeting. Let's get to it. Raul back with the jokes. I see you, Raul. There go your attention. Let's keep it moving. Black Pearl, top of the morning to you as well. Happy Wednesday. Zadrick, what's going on?
Cole, you stupid.
Oh, no, my NBA Jam.
We do not care.
Man, oh, man, I mistakenly deleted my NBA Jam sign. My bad, Zadrick. I got you. Shout out to you for being here. Latika, what's going on?
I don't think he went to school nowhere. If he went to school, he didn't learn nothing.
He didn't learn nothing. We're going to learn if Jason Lloyd learned anything. Ivy League Mac, good morning. How you feeling, man? Ivar, Sapase. What is going on? Greetings all. Ivar tapped in from Florida. Where we at? Jackie, good morning. How you feeling? Maya, good morning. C. Brown Run, good morning. Ivy League Mac, laugh out loud. I laughed at how Detroit Gemini corrected G. Bush, who mistakenly said he has been accepted by the cult. She was like, excuse me, we are a family, not a cult. Yeah, words got meaning, man. Words have meaning. So just, I'm not putting myself in no cult or anything like that. I'm not doing that. So shout out to Detroit Gemini, making sure that's corrected. Because, I'm cool on that. I'm cool. A.M. Williams, good morning. Happy Hump Day. Detroit Gemini, good morning. How you feeling? Joanna, good morning. Welcome back. Felix, what's going on? Good morning. Felix, we'll be here when you get back. We'll be here when you get back. Tell them you got an appointment on Wednesdays, 10:30. You can't be going to these meetings. Nah, I'm joking. You got to get to it. Get to it. Rent still due. Our Jizzle, what's going on? Good morning. Miss K, what's going on? Good morning. Oh, I believe, man. Hey, Detroit Gemini, I was just laughing. How you body check, correct? G. Bush, we are a family, not a cult. Yeah, talk to him. Talk to him. Don't put me in no cult. Don't put me in no cult. No, we good. We good. We good here. We good. Key Mathis in the building. What is going on?
45-47.
Shout out to you, Key Mathis. Hopefully you like that. Hopefully you like that. I like that. We got Charmaine in the building. Hardest working woman in Ohio. What's going on? Charmaine said, good morning, everyone. Chilling in my she shed. It is on all summer. Everybody need their own space. Everybody need their own space. I'm a big fan of having somewhere where you could just go and unwind. One thing that might be surprising about me, even though I talk on the internet, I like quiet, y'all. And I don't know if that's just like the old man in me, I got that from my granddad. I don't like a lot of sounds going on. I want to be the one that controls the sounds. If I'm listening to music, I'm listening to music. But if I'm not listening to music, I don't want something here, something there. So enjoy your she shed. I'm all for you having your own space and enjoying it how you want to. I'm all for that. All for it. Shout out to you, Charmaine. Arjizzle, Shedeur needs to hire an agent. Shedeur does have an agent. Shedeur does have an agent. That was something that was put to bed last year. They had an agent this whole time. Agent, attorneys, everything. That was put to bed last summer. Miss Brown, what's going on? Good morning, Maurice. What's going on? All right, y'all. So I kind of told y'all what this stream is going to be about. I'll give you something about me. So with me, I'm a person who I'm starting to pick up on patterns that people have, and I'm able to identify when they're laying a trap that they want to use later. So when it gets to the Jason Lloyd subject, this is not going to be a screaming, bashing Jason Lloyd thing. This is just going to be a springboard opportunity for us to actually get to the football. So don't be alarmed. It's not going to be no Jason Lloyd bashing session. That's not what we on today. It's going to be, we're going to talk about football. But I recognize sometimes just because I can identify what someone is doing, that doesn't mean everybody can identify it. So I'll give you all an example. Last year, when everybody started covering the Browns, people were using Mary Kay as an insider and quoting Mary Kay and saying that's, she's the one that has the beat on what's going on with the Browns. I remember Shannon Sharp saying, if something comes out of Cleveland, I'm going to Mary Kay. And I would hear everybody say this. And before the season started, I put out a video and I said, Mary Kay don't know what she's talking about. Why are y'all using Mary Kay as a resource? And I didn't do enough to explain it. I didn't have an audience to speak to, really. I didn't have the credibility necessary for me to make a claim like that in certain people's eyes. Now, if I say Mary Kay doesn't have the credibility, nobody bats an eye. So a lot of time, I have to do a better job of laying out the case of what I'm seeing and showing people why I react the way I act. So that's what we're going to do today. Today is going to be me laying out the case for my vision for certain things and walking y'all through why I view it a certain way. Also explaining why when certain things happen, I kill a gnat with a sledgehammer. I don't leave room for error. It don't have to be close, as the coach for South Carolina State would say. It don't have to be close. So we're gonna get to it. It's gonna be fun. Really good show. Really, really, really good show. So let's keep these comments going before we tap into it and get to the motivation as we usually do. His agent isn't doing a good job by letting these lies stay out here about their clients. I would say that you are controlled by the things that move you. And I think you got two choices. You can try to put out every fire that people start about Shedeur, and you will be a very busy person if you've been doing that since last summer. Or you can show up, control what you control, and move forward. That agent would be responding to YouTube channels. He would be responding to all type of articles. He would be doing a bunch of different things, and which that would be a poor return on investment for Shedeur, paying an agent 10% on contracts to be handled on that. So it just you have to let the stories pop up and go away. Don't give them life. Don't give them air. With all due respect to G. Bush, I'm glad someone corrected him. Let there be no misunderstanding. Yeah, this is Eliminate the Gray. You know, we make, to me, this is why my podcast is called Eliminate the Gray. We don't dance in the gray area. We make it very clear on our stance. So if it's something that I don't agree with, I just tell you. That's what it is. So like I said, I'm not part of a cult. I'm not in a cult. I never got into the calling people who support Shedeur a name. I didn't do that for other players who supported Tim Tebow or, you know, Michael Jordan or LeBron. I don't get into that. One thing. So what people think triggers you and what actually trigger you could be different. So I'll tell y'all something about me. I don't like for people to put me in a box. And the reason why I don't like for people to put me in a box is because people put you in a box. It's always negative. People never put you in a positive box. They never put you in a box and say, man, you're the most entertaining person I ever seen. Let me put you on this level with this. When they put you in a box, it's always to put you in a category that they see fit, even if it doesn't match. So that's why I don't do the calling people names and putting them in a box type stuff. Long way to way to get there. He just doesn't have anyone actively pushing propaganda like Stefanski, Dylan, or Ty. Yeah, I don't mind it. I think the Browns are doing everything they need to do. It's a losing battle. Whoever negotiated that prime equity clause is a hell of a negotiator. Unfortunately, Ivy League Mac, that's not real. A YouTuber created that and pushed that narrative. The prime equity thing is not a real thing. It's not a real thing, unfortunately. It's not a real thing. You want it to be one way, but it's the other way. Marlo Stanfield. I like that. Folks gonna learn about 12. I agree. That's not real. Prime equity is not real. Yeah, I agree with you, Arjizzle. It's not real. It's just a thing that people start. A YouTuber actually is the one who created that and start pushing it. Where we at? Sanders needs to block out the madness to focus on football. I agree with that. Yes. Let's no give them too much of our personal time. They are not worth the conversation on a regular basis. I'm right there with you, Joanna. I use it as a springboard to get into the football. That's how I use it. A springboard to get to the place where I always want to be anyway. Definitely. Man, the cover charge is low. When I was growing up and we went to the club, they would be like 20 for guys, women are free. When you come in here, the cover charge is just hitting that like button, y'all. Everybody can hit that. Everybody can hit that like button. Everybody can hit that like button on the way in, especially if you're enjoying this thing. Just proved she had an inside leak this whole time. Yeah, speaking of Mary Kay, she did. It was not due to her understanding or her ability. I like that quote. Makes me think of Roddy Piper's quote when he said, "As soon as you think you have all the answers, I change the questions." Man, I like that. I like that. I don't think he needs it. Vindication will come in due time. They'll be proved wrong in the end. Dedrick, I'm with you right there. I think it would be a poor investment to just pay somebody substantial amounts just to combat internet lies and rumors. I wouldn't do it. Craig, what's going on? How you feeling? Tool Man, what's going on? Welcome in. What's going on, Tool Man and Craig? Accuracy, moxie, clutch gene, and leadership will always translate. Don't worry. Off the record family, we legendary. Lucrative vision. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I like it. I like it. I think they address the things they are concerned about. We hear from Boog, Junior or Dion. The last issue was addressed by Boog, Dion, and Shedeur. They just don't address everything real fans know. Yeah, it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense to try to put out all those little small brush fires, because then what will happen is people will use your desire to put out the fires as a way for them to grab your attention, and you don't want to do that. 704, what's going on?
Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Woo, woo. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Woo, woo. Here we go.
704, good morning, D. I'm just Dawg Pound, 10 toes down. Let's get it. Let's get it. Prime equity is not real. I agree with that. I understand it's so draining with these media clowns. I know everybody isn't like this. I have a way of going to a subject, getting what I need from it, whether it's something that I'm going to react to, whether it's something that I'm determined if I want to add it to the stream or not, and keeping it moving and then not have an impact on my day. So it's kind of how I view it. Even though I show passion in what I'm talking about, stuff doesn't weigh on me. I'm telling you, something that might weigh on me is when somebody try to box me in. That's a trigger for mine. I'm letting y'all know that's a trigger for me. But Jason Lloyd not having understanding, that don't trigger me. The Cleveland media and what they do, that stuff don't trigger me. I just laugh at it for the most part, because I'm like, man, I'm surprised that you got the kahunas to get out here and say these things knowing how wrong you are. So I usually just laugh at it. Always good to join the conversation with the Browns family. Always good to have you too, man. Always good to have you. Soon someone with zero assets is counterproductive. People with real things to lose are very cautious with their liable comments. For real. I agree with that. Browns media, however, still putting out absurd anything but Shedeur messages. They are. They're going to keep doing that. They're going to be the last ones to the party. It's okay. The Browns are addressing a lot of things about Shedeur. People just choose to ignore it. I agree with that. All right, y'all. Little long-winded. My open's a little long-winded today, but I got y'all. Let's get this thing started. We got some motivation, and it's funny because y'all have addressed some of the things in the motivation. Shout out to Key Mathis. Shout out to Key Mathis. Let me say this. 45-37. I like that. Shout out to Key Mathis. Key Mathis put me on to Miles Monroe, and I've been hooked ever since. So I got to give you your props, Key Mathis. Shout out to you. Let's get this motivation going. Miles Monroe. And the funny thing is, I always change my motivation the morning of. So when I put my stream together at night, I listen to stuff in the morning, different motivational things, and then sometimes something just sticks out, and I end up changing what I use. So that happened. Jason Lloyd is just a bum trying to make a name for himself. Only rumor I wouldn't mind feeding is Shiloh. He looks good in brown. Yeah, I wouldn't mind bringing Shiloh. They still bringing out old lies. Nobody is taking him seriously at this point. I agree. You can't let people like Browns media live in your head rent free. Craig, talk to him. Talk to him. I've noticed your commentary is very entertaining. Good space to be in. I appreciate that, Joanna. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. I just want Shedeur to be happy so he can work on his craft and get back to his real self so his confidence will come back. I think he's there. Belief is a very important thing. Belief is very important. Y'all believe in me and y'all show up to my streams, and that keeps me going. That helps me get better. Shedeur has belief in the building. and they've shown outwardly that they have belief in him, I think he is showing up. Going to be his best version of himself because they're showing the outward belief is no questions. So let's keep this thing going. Let's get it going. All right, let's pull this up. Let's go here. Oh, Dr. Miles Monroe, where are you? Here we go. There we go. That's about right. I could listen to Miles Monroe all day, y'all. All day. Let's get it. Now that they've realized none of the QBs they want are coming here, they've decided to pivot back to Deshaun without proper context. You see it. Deshaun stuff, you notice I don't give that no energy. I just, nah. I seen what Deshaun was.
Success in life is the effective use of time. Success in life is a result of the effective use of time. You are right now exactly what you traded your time for. That's all you are. So everybody in this room are the result of the same thing. How we use our time. If you use your time sitting on a couch and eating all the time, you probably see that you're fat, overweight, out of shape. If you don't exercise with your time, then you become a certain type of condition. That leads to number 2. Time is the true measure of life. It took me a long time to figure that out. Life is simply time. When you tell me you are 50 years old, what you're telling me is you are what you use 50 years of time to do.
Now y'all see why I had to change to this for motivation this morning. Time is that valuable asset. We don't know how much of it we're going to get. So you have to make the best use of it. And also, time is a result of what you spend your life doing. When I heard this, I said, man, I have to play this. This is so good. Dr. Miles Monroe, his teachings, it's just something different. Like on the weekends when I'm not streaming and I'm working and I'm listening to something, man, I'll listen to his stuff for hours. So shout out to him. Time is very important. Time is a result of what you, your life is a result of what you spend your time on. I like that so much. So if you want to get better at something, you got to spend time at it. You want a better understanding of something, you got to spend time getting a better knowledge based on that subject. You want to be able to read defensive film. What defenses are doing, you got to watch a lot of film. This is just so good. So people who speak on things and choose not to put the time in, that is their choice. And that is a reason why they might not reach the level of success that they want to reach. Shout out to Dr. Miles Monroe. I thought this was amazing. It's about 12 minutes long. I can't play the whole thing. But this was really, really, really good. It's just so good. Your life is a mirror of what you spend your time on. So good. So good. Shout out to Dr. Miles Monroe. Let's hit a couple comments before we move this thing forward. Shedeur, let's see. Okay. Shedeur has his confidence back, but he is being mindful about what he puts out that can be misinterpreted. I agree with that. I don't know if Shiloh wants to play anymore. He was winded doing the band routines. Plus, he'd be on stream smoking hookah. So not sure if he still wants to. Plus, he is 26. Yeah. It's all up to him if he wants to do it. The Sanders family has thick skin, not worried about him right now. He is the clear leader across the board. And despite media saying and praying otherwise, I don't expect to see Deshaun much past preseason. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't expect to see Deshaun much past preseason either. Deshaun's body just broke down. That's what it was. His body has broken down. So we got to shout out Charmaine, the hardest working woman in Ohio.
Oh my God! Wow! I got money.
Shout out to Charmaine for hitting the Cash App. She making sure I got the caffeine to push through and give y'all another great stream. So shout out to Charmaine, hardest working woman in Ohio, awesome supporter. I appreciate you. She also hit the Cash App last week. So let me run that again for her because I forgot to say it last week when she hit the Cash App.
Oh my God! Wow! I got money.
Shout out to Charmaine. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I meant to say that last week, and it's been, that's the type of stuff that eats at me, y'all, when I want to say something and I don't get to say it on stream, and I keep thinking about it later until I get a chance to say it. So shout out to Charmaine. Well, we know what Jason Lloyd and Bullet did with their time. Just saying. Just saying. Injury prone since college. I agree. Deshaun Watson has had more injuries than people kind of ever acknowledge. And one of the things that I keep talking about when I talk about Deshaun, I don't want to see Deshaun fail. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying sometimes you hit that point where injuries and your body just don't allow you to be the same player you used to be. And I think that's the point he's at, unfortunately, in his career. Let's keep it moving. Now, last year, when everything was all about Shedeur, we wanted them to speak on football. And for whatever reason, they would not speak on football with Shedeur. They went outside everything else with football. Now, this year, when people want to speak on football with Fernando Mendoza, people take offense to it. And it only takes, not even a full calendar year, we already see that people don't have a philosophy with how they view things, and that's why they always end up in these situations where they're dancing all over the place on TV, because they just didn't like Shedeur. I remember the first time I said, if you don't like Shedeur, the best thing for you to do is just say, I don't like Shedeur. Don't fake it. Don't try to bring up stuff that doesn't matter. Don't try to bring up things that aren't quantifiable. Don't use those things. But that's what they did. That's what they did. And now with Mendoza, you bring up football, what he did and what he didn't do on the football field, man, they up in arms. And I'm like, what is this? This is backwards. So I know Dan O isn't the biggest. I know y'all aren't the biggest fan of Dan Orlovsky, but I'm only playing this for this reason alone. We wanted them to talk about football with Shedeur. Dan Orlovsky is talking about football with Fernando Mendoza, and everybody is crushing him. What this shows me is if they like you, they will defend you regardless. Regardless. That's all we're going to get from this. Let me hit these two comments, and then we're going to play the video. Even in my top military shape, if you take a couple weeks off, in 3 weeks, your performance drops off. To be top shape is hard. A lot of work, and you don't get there with half measure. It's diet and work. Tool man, that's a fact. In my early 30s, man, I would lift a lot of weights. I would lift heavy weights, really strong, and my body paid for it. And one day I was just sitting there and I was like, man, what am I doing all this for? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about, I'm hitting a lot of weights. I'm doing all this stuff. And I'm like, man, why am I doing this? My body's taking a beat and I'm putting extra damage to my body for no reason, not getting nothing out of it. So I agree with you too, man. Once I went from heavy weights to other things, man, oh man, change. I just think of Grant Hill and Penny Hardaway when I think of Deshaun. Yes, a bunch of talent coming out of college, bunch of opportunity, but the body's broke down. Every draft is the same. Anointed number one has overlooked weaknesses. People get protective based on like or dislike regardless of facts. Tool man. I like the way you summed that up. That is a fact. That is a fact. Let's listen to this.
The body of work and what was asked of these two quarterbacks, you have to start with the question, who needed to do more to carry their football team to play well? Ty Simpson, and it's not close between those two quarterbacks. Who took more games over throughout the course of the season? Ty Simpson. It's not even close. And if we're asking, like, okay, we're trying to see what you are as a player in college and what you're going to be asked to do in the NFL and what translates. I start with, what do you do in moments of panic with the football? Because that's really what separates good to great. I would tell you that Ty Simpson is more consistent in that regard. There's not a ton of moments of panic out of Fernando Mendoza. And then there's moments when he immediately drops his eyes and becomes a runner. Ty Simpson more consistent in that. What?
I like that you said that. I like that you said that, Zedric, because that's something that came up. Dano saying he didn't see enough but saw more out of Ty Simpson. Interesting, but it's slanted because they're under the same agency. Right message, wrong messenger. I like that you said that. I think that's what people will draw a lot to. Do y'all remember last year when people were saying the reason why Dan Orlovsky is drawing the ties to Dylan Gabriel, Kevin Stefanski is because they have the same agency? I looked at that. I didn't think that was a red herring. A lot of people thought that was a red herring. I just looked at it like they probably are more friendly than the public knows. That's how I look at it. I think if you work to consistently discredit somebody, you can. You can. What he is going to say, his reasoning for why he believes Ty Simpson is better than Mendoza is legitimate based on the football field. If you just go based on the football field, it's legit. It's legit. Every single person is coming to the same conclusion once they watch Fernando Mendoza. Every single person. Every single person. They're like, he only threw to the outside. He rarely threw across the middle. He ran a lot of RPOs. He panicked in the pocket. So now that everybody is saying these things, it's easy. Take it away. Take it away from Dan Orlovsky. Put it on to anybody else and see if you can discredit them the same way. See if you can discredit them the same way. So here, I have times where I push back on the person when they have inconsistencies and things like that. Also, I can look at if what this person is saying has any substance to it. I'm not a person that disagrees with most people 100% of the time, and I certainly don't agree with anybody 100% of the time. I think it could be a person that I disagree with 80% of the time, and then one time they could say something. I'll say, I agree with that. The same thing when people say a broken clock is right twice a day. That has stood the test of time. People still say that to this day. And that's how, if you want to say Dan Orlovsky, they're all CAA, that's perfectly fine. But then I would just say, okay, listen to the points he said about football and refute those points. That's what most people refuse to do. That's what most people refuse to do. So that's why I warned y'all. I said, it's Dan Orlovsky. Y'all are going to hear it. I know the easy thing to do is say Dan Orlovsky is this. That doesn't mean he can't say something that I would agree with. So, did I get that? I think the pushback with Dan O is mainly because he is trying to push the narrative that Ty Simpson should be drafted before Mendoza. I haven't listened to everything he said. I listened to when he was on Get Up. I listened to when he was on Pat McAfee. In those times, I don't know if he was pushing for him to be drafted before him. I've heard him say he should be drafted in the first round. I've heard him say that. I don't think that's egregious. I think a lot of people are saying that. But I don't know. If you've heard that and I haven't heard that, then I'm just wrong on that. And that's my bad if I'm wrong on that. That is how we get Hall of Fame at number 12 and number 2 flops. Look at Deion, pick 5. All 4 guys picked before him failed to live up to the hype. There you go. There you go. Dio insisted that DG outplayed Shedeur during the preseason, and that's just not true. I agree with that. Dan is going to push himself out of a TV career with these bad takes. You know what I realized? The people with bad takes end up lasting longer than people with good takes. The people with good takes are the ones who are not on ESPN anymore. The people with good takes are the ones who are not on Fox Sports anymore. The people with bad takes, for whatever reason, they stand the test of time. They stand the test of time for whatever reason. Morning, what you do if you panic in the moment, Dan's playing career, run out of the end zone as I did. He definitely panicked there. I agree with you. It's really a thing. They look out for each other when represented by the same person. I'm not disagreeing with that. I just think that I think that's an easy way to not address what he's actually saying. That's what I think. So, let's keep it going. Maurice, I would take Shedeur's game against the Panthers against both of Dylan's games in preseason. Dylan was protected in ways Shedeur was not. I agree with that. Dio is just finally started listening to others. I don't think he came up with his own opinion. Finch Straddler. I think at times I could see him doing that. I don't know about this one because this is the one where he's taking the most backlash. He said if he had to take Ty or Mendoza, he is taking Ty first. I heard him say if it came down to taking Fernando Mendoza at number 1 or taking Ty Simpson top 15, he would take Ty Simpson top 15, not Mendoza at 1. I can't take Ty Simpson serious when he only started 15 games when Shedeur played for 4 years. It's not fair. He goes first round, period. Detroit Gemini's getting to the crux of what I'm saying. We wanted it about football. And when it's about football, people discredit it with other things. So that's what I'm highlighting. Where we at? Did he say that on the McAfee show? Yeah, I heard him. I watched that clip and I didn't play that clip. I thought this clip got to the point faster, but I heard it differently. Maybe I heard it wrong, but I heard him say he would take Ty Simpson first half of the first round over taking Mendoza. So Kevin Stefanski went for a sabotage at the preseason game. I agree with that. I really feel the agents paid these people to talk up their clients, Dan is getting paid. See, I disagree with that. And I disagree for this reason. You do not work for your agent. Your agent works for you. This is a very clear distinction. Your agent works for the client. The client doesn't work for the agent. This is the same way in insurance. This is the same way in sales. You don't work for the person. The person who makes a decision to hire and fire does not work for that person. That's one thing that people say about Rich Paul and LeBron, and I can't stand it because it just shows people's lack of understanding. Agents work for their clients. They can be fired. They don't pay the clients. That's not how this works. That's something that a lot of people have been saying about Rich Paul and LeBron for a long time, and that's just, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. He can fire CAA tomorrow. That's not that is not how it works. That's not how it works. I know people say that. I know people want to tie that to that. That is not how that industry works. That is not how insurance works. That is not how real estate agents work. If you've worked in any of these industries, you know it's the exact opposite. It's the exact opposite. That is something that people use to discredit when they don't like a person. That is something they do. Dan Orlovsky can fire CAA tomorrow and go get hired by Clutch. He can hire Clutch. Then if he came and made the same take, will we say Clutch is the reason why he's saying this? So that's a misconception about certain industry. That's a misconception. I've worked in industries where I could be fired by the client. Those industries they don't work the way that people try to make them seem. Clutch Sports is never writing a check for their clients to go say something. And that's not something I'm going to dance around. I understand how that industry works. That is not how that industry works. People use that to discredit people, and it's just not true. It is the weakest argument I see. I see more people make than they should. That's not how that works. It's not how it works. When you go buy a house, anybody that's bought a house, can you fire your agent? Anybody that's bought a house, can you fire your realtor? Yes. You can fire your realtor because the realtor works for you. If you have an insurance agent, you can fire the insurance agent because they work for you. If you hire a marketing agent, if you hire an attorney, if you hire anybody that offers that type of service for you, you can fire them, not the other way around. Then I would say, maybe not in money, but in some kind of kickbacks. Then I would ask you this. Can you prove the kickbacks? Because remember, if you don't kind of think about how you're saying something, you can turn into the thing that you don't like. And you have to be conscious and aware about it. So if we put this on somebody else, that they're getting kickbacks to say the same things as they say, what happens when that's used against somebody we like and we appreciate and we respect? So just be careful with putting something on somebody, because that I see it all the time. People turn into the thing that they dislike the most. People have a situation growing up and they say, I would never be like my dad. They grow up and turn into the dad. I would never be like my mom, and they grow up and turn into the mom. You have to be careful when you just put stuff like that on people, because it could be used against you once with somebody you care about, and then you won't want it to be viewed the same way. So just be mindful. If you don't like Dan Orlovsky, that's perfectly fine. That's why I always say, if you don't like somebody, the best thing to do is say, I don't like that person. Hey, I don't like Dan Orlovsky. That's the best thing to do. But going in the weeds and trying to find all these connected strings and all this stuff, that is the same thing that we criticize so many people in the media for doing with Shedeur. We criticize the media for that. All the narratives, all the stories they created. A whole year of criticizing them for this. And just because we don't like a person, you got to be careful not to turn into the same thing we just complained about for a year. So if you don't like Dan Orlovsky, I'm cool with that. Say, hey, I don't like Dan Orlovsky. Just be careful with that. Be careful. Let's keep it moving. They don't want to talk about football when it comes to Ty Simpson and Fernando Mendoza is the main point of that. That's the main point of that. Let's keep it moving. Okay. So y'all kind of asked me about this on Monday's stream. I spoke on it briefly. Thank you, Black Pearl. Thank you. Black Pearl picking up what I'm putting down. I don't like Dan. No. Talk to me. Usually the easiest thing to do is say, I don't like this person. And y'all will see why I always say that. Y'all will see why I always say it. Dan is not credible. The way he talked about Kevin, now Ty, they all have the same agents. Something is off with them. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I wouldn't take Ty Simpson. I wouldn't take Ty Simpson in anything before the third round if it was me. Y'all know I have a hard, fast rule, 25 starts in college. I have a hard, fast rule, 25 starts in college. I wouldn't take Ty Simpson. That was to highlight when it comes to football, people take it off of football. The whole last year, we argued that they should talk about Shedeur on the football field. That was to highlight that. It was just a little exercise. And when they actually talk about the things we want them to talk about, it can go sideways quick. So, all right, let's keep it pushing. Cam Skattebo had jokes about asthma and CTE. I don't think he was joking. I think he was serious. He called it a joke, so I had to correct myself there. I think he was serious. I think when people get pushed back, they say, I was joking, even though it's no tone or nothing that says that they're joking. So we're going to get to Gerald McCoy breaking down how he took the things that Cam Skattebo said. You're making my case for the agent. Good agents have connections. They can get interviews or articles written. You're making my case for the agent. Good agents have connections. They can get interviews or articles written. I'm not making your case for the agent to put out fires about what people are saying about Shedeur. I'm not making that case. Let's make this very clear. I'm making the case that the agent works for the client. That's the point I'm making. I'm not making the case that Shedeur's agent should go out here and put out all the fires that people are starting. I am not making that case. I'm not making that case at all. D, where would you take Mendoza in this draft? To me, Mendoza, late first, early second round pick. late first. Probably nothing before 20-ish. Because a number 1 overall pick, they're just going to expect you to be ready right away. To me, Mendoza needs to be developed more. All quarterbacks need to be developed, but I think he needs to be developed more than a quarterback that goes number 1 overall. So I would say late first, early second is where I would have Mendoza, because he's not going to be able to take on a responsibility right away. He's going to need additional development. That's where the agent comes in. That's stupid. Apologize now, Skattebo. Yeah, but Shedeur not out here saying crazy stuff like Skattebo is, so he not saying stuff like that. Fernando Mendoza has not played a lot of NFL style of football. So when you haven't played that much NFL style football, you're going to need more time to develop. If you're number 1 overall, they're going to expect you to be a starter right away. If you're drafted late first round, they might give you a window where you can sit behind a starter that's already there and learn and develop. So I think that would be better if it was me. That's how I would do it. I don't believe that just because it's a quarterback, you need a quarterback, you automatically go number 1. So Dan showed favoritism against Shedeur. Dan showed favoritism to Kevin. The suffix of both names says it all. Kevin is not an effective coach. Kevin cost Shedeur 3 games. I agree with you there. D, the difference is you come out and state facts why you wouldn't do things, and people like DL don't back what they say half the time with facts. I agree with you there. Buenos dias, D, and the chat. I said half of it in Spanish. Said the rest of it in English. What's going on, Brent? How you feeling, man? How you feeling, Brent? What about Ty D? Ty Simpson has not started. He hasn't started enough games for me, and he's already graduated college. That is a major issue for me. So Ty Simpson, man, I would not take Ty Simpson anything before the second round. Nothing before the second round, man. Nothing. He's most likely going to go before that. I would not take him anything before that. Because you have to look at what the expectation is. When they bump you up to a first round pick, they're going to expect you to play right away. 15 games in college, you have not seen enough football for them to get to the next level of what they want to teach you to read and see when it comes to defenses, what they're trying to take away, you actually being able to manage the play clock with motions, identifying things, calling things out. So if you're a second round pick at the earliest, that means they should feel comfortable you sitting on the bench a whole year, at least 1 year. If I drafted Ty Simpson, he is on the bench 1 whole year. He is not seeing the field till maybe the last 2 games of the season. I need to bring him up to speed. A lot of development needs to go into him because he has not seen enough football. He's not seen enough, y'all. So that's what I would say about Ty. Early onset, look at his play style. Yes. Shedeur gets stronger or more when more people talk about him. Yeah, I don't think it has any impact on him. I think he thrives in that situation. Mendoza is more accurate with superior production, while Simpson is a former 5-star recruit with high school potential. He ranked as a top 2 QB with less starting experience. Yeah, see, Mendoza, it makes you wonder why Mendoza couldn't do this more often considering how much time he's played. Skattebo probably is already suffering from CTE. Man, oh man. Whispers, Dawg got rushed out because Dayball job was on the line. Should have gave Russ half the year because he wasn't playing terribly. Yeah, Brian Dayball was, I said it before the year last year. I was like, this decision and how he handles quarterback will determine if he has a job next year. And people just couldn't see that. And I was like, look how fast he got fired. How y'all not see the writing on the wall? Jackson Dart really, when I was breaking down Jackson Dart's film throughout the year last year, you can fool him. You can fool him really easy with like simple zone coverage, not disguised zone coverage where you're showing 8 in the box, and then you're spraying out everybody running to cover their zones. When I watch Jackson Dart, you could just show cover 3, all the signs of cover 3, and he just couldn't beat it. And then you could show cover 2, he didn't know where to go to beat it. So he definitely need more time to develop. I said the same thing. That's why he is making such crazy statements. He is a little weird. Mendoza, Simpson will get exposed. Yeah, man, I want them to have a good career, but they need time. The way he plays, yes, scrambled eggs. Y'all talking about Jackson Dart? Yeah, y'all talking about Cam Skattebo? Yeah, both of them kind of play reckless. Coach made the same mistake, not enough experience with Anthony Richardson. I agree. I totally agree with that. Anthony Richardson, he still needs more time to develop. The fact that Richardson needed more time as a starter, yeah, Richardson, I think played 13 games in college. He just hasn't seen enough football. That's not enough football. Mendoza threw a great pass at Penn State. The pass allowed Indiana to come from behind. The IU receiver made a great leap on the pass from the middle. Penn State had the game, but Mendoza on 4th and 14. Yeah, I think that was more wide receiver making an amazing play to get his feet down at the back of the touchdown. I remember that. He had moments. D, would you have taken Dart where the Giants drafted him? Yeah, I would take Jackson Dart where the Giants drafted him. They got him towards the end of the first round. To me, this is how I break it down. I break it down if you're a quarterback and you go in top 5, they expect you to play that first season from the beginning. If you're a quarterback and you get drafted after 20, even if it's in the first round, they're doing that to add that 5th-year option onto you. So that quarterback doesn't have to start right away. So, yeah, I don't have an issue with where Jackson Dart was drafted. He needs development. Notice Mendoza never got called out for having the 2nd most sacks in 2024 playing at Cal. Zed, did you remember I said that during the offseason it's going to be stuff that they're not going to talk about? They're not going to talk about even though they act like it was a bad, super bad thing with Shedeur. That was one of them. That was one of them. Skattebo won't last long if he's continued to play the way he does along with Dart. Yeah, they need to play like offensive players. Let's get to Gerald McCoy breaking this down.
When I seen this on the rundown, I had to have and I'm being dead serious. I had to seriously sit down and pray about what I was going to say on the show because my initial human feelings was to disrespect both of them because both of these topics are sensitive areas for me and they hit home. But then I said, you know what, God, that's not me. I didn't want to react out of emotion because that's not me. I would have got outside of myself reacting out of emotion. Skattebo, I'll say his name. I'm not going to say the other guy's name because I think sometimes we give people platforms and voices that ain't earned it, so I'm not even going to say his name. But the things that were said, you got to be careful because mental health is nothing to joke about, and it's very serious. And when I say it's sensitive for me, I'm going to let Cody get more into the CTE, but I have teammates who passed away that I played with in Tampa. Vincent Jackson, one of them. He suffered from severe alcoholism, and when they tested him, he was a 2nd degree or level of CTE, and that wasn't Vincent Jackson. This is the guy who was always with the military. You know, what's the military award that they give out every year to NFL?
Salute to Service?
Salute to Service. He won the Salute to Service award.
Yeah.
You know, this is who Vincent Jackson. Year after year, Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee. This is who Vincent Jackson was. And then recently, they released a video of Doug Martin, his arrest video. Anybody who knows Doug knows that wasn't Doug. Doug was full of life, loved to have a good time, played video games, just loved playing football and having a good time, dancing, all that. That was Doug. That video, that wasn't Doug. So clearly something happened mentally. This game we play is very difficult, but I want to talk about the asthma situation because
let me catch up and then we're going to get to the asthma portion. What is going on? C. Anderson, how you feeling?
This is a foolishness. Foolishness.
Good morning, D, and the Off the Record fam. It's hard to stay away from hope. Everyone is being blessed always. What is going on? What is going on, C. Anderson? Jared was very emotional. He did a great job describing how serious CTE and asthma is. Well done. Yes. When y'all asked me about this, I was like, Skattebo was tripping. But the reason why I wanted to play this was because of how it touched the guys who actually played in the NFL. And this is why, if you don't understand something, say you don't understand it, but just to blanket discredit things, that's immaturity. It's immaturity and it's ignorance. And you should really start to look into the things you try to speak on. You have a responsibility as a person who turns the camera on, turns on the microphone, to either research what you're going to talk about or face the consequences of what you talk about in the backlash. So I think when people try to hide behind that joke thing, I think that's like when a little kid get caught doing something, they say it wasn't me, it was this one, or, you know, oh, I was joking, I wasn't serious. Nah, I don't play that, man. That's what little kids do. Little kids do that. So Skattebo, he gotta do better. He just gotta do better. I'm not gonna joke about it. He has to do better. He gotta do better. And if you don't understand something, it's power in saying, I don't know about that. It's power in saying, I don't understand it. It's power in that. That is freeing. Versus you just writing stuff off that you don't understand. It's like, come on, man. You don't understand other languages, but does that mean that the other languages aren't real? So it's just immaturity and ignorance. And I wanted to come back to this based on how they responded to this. So Vincent Jackson was that guy too. Loved his game. He was a beast. Big wide receiver. They found Vincent Jackson in a hotel room, I believe. I think they did. Asante, what is going on? Asante, stay safe out there on the road. Stay safe out there on the road. Asante, what's going on? Always good to have you. I don't even remember Vincent Jackson taking any hard hits. I don't know, man. He played a decent amount of years. So, you know, at that time, guys just was getting hit and it was normal. So it could be hits that we just kind of didn't look at the same way in the moment. So it could be that. He handled this situation very well. He did. And this is an example. I don't always agree with Gerald McCoy. Here, I agree with him 1,000%. And also, I give him credit for, you got choices. He was about to go down the path of rage when he was like, I was just going to respond in emotion. He looked up stuff about the other guy. I think he was going to go in on them. And he controlled that emotion to express himself clearly and articulate the reasons why this is not something you play with. And I respect him for that. He seems a little immature to me. Yes, Skattebo does. He is. Well, this shows it. Guys are unaliving themselves because of that. That wasn't very smart. But it matters who makes those comments. Everyone can make those comments and expect to receive forgiveness. Ooh, Maurice. You know that. Now this is the part. I remember Zedric was asking, like, what did he say about the asthma portion? So let's get to his response on that side of it too.
They talked about being in the 4th grade and kids breathing hard, and, you know, and it was like, just breathe air. Well, if you knew what asthma was, is you can't just breathe air. It literally collapses your ability to breathe normally. So for me, that's very sensitive because, one, I grew up with asthma and I grew out of it. And they said guys are just soft. They ain't soft bone in my body. I wouldn't been able to play as long as I did if I was soft. I know another guy that we all know in here, he got asthma. I've watched him use an inhaler. You watched him use an inhaler. His name is Aqib Talib. I think we would all agree that there ain't a soft bone in Aqib Talib's body.
Hell no.
So we're talking about people being soft because they have asthma, let me talk to both of y'all, and I'm gonna look into the camera when I say this. You gotta be careful when you bring these things up, because I have children, and I don't believe either one of y'all have kids. If you do, God bless you. But have you ever had to sit in the hospital with your kid being hospitalized because of asthma? All times of the night, doctors coming in, hooking them up to tubes, telling you if their oxygen level gets below this, they could pass away. I have, multiple times, sat and watched my kid fight to breathe because she's dealing with asthma, having to be in the hospital multiple times because she can't breathe. As a dad watching his kid, that is hell to deal with because you can't do nothing about it. You can't breathe for them. They're literally hooked to the best thing that can happen to help them breathe, and they're still not breathing properly. And this has happened multiple times. So when y'all sitting up calling people soft and making fun of real medical issues, because the guy, I'm not gonna say your name, but see, I don't just get on this couch and just talk. I actually researched. Didn't your career end because of blood clots? Ain't that a medical situation? So we sit here making fun of other medical situations, but your career ended, your athletic career ended because of blood clots. So is that fake? It's not fake, right? Blood clots is very real.
Very real.
So let's be careful what we're saying about these certain things because you never know who it affects. So when I heard this, I was like, man, he is a kid. So that's why I kind of took a step back. Like, we all make mistakes. I've made some very terrible mistakes. And that's why I decided to take that approach. Let's be very aware of the things we're saying and making light of and joking about for clicks, because it's not funny to everybody. And saying people are soft because they have asthma wasn't funny to me at all. So,
I'm telling y'all, I applaud people when I believe they handle things well. And I believe he handled this really, really, really well, y'all. Really well. He handled this really well, especially when he explained about being in the hospital with his daughter, because that is something that could trigger a different side of a person. So him handling this well, I gotta applaud him for that, because he was ready to take it there. He was ready to take it there, and I'm not just gonna knock people when they say stuff bad. When we have good examples of people handling things, I'm going to applaud them for how they do it, and I'm applauding Gerald McCoy. I have to, y'all. I have to, because you can tell he was still wrestling with keeping his emotions out of this when he was talking. He caught himself a couple of times where he would pause to just kind of hey, reel it back in, stay cool. So I definitely applaud him for this. You have to have a base. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm not gonna say you have to. Let me say this correctly. I like to have a base understanding of when I'm speaking about something. That's what I like to do. I've learned that as you get older, the less stuff that you just go in front of people and guess about, the less times you got to come back and apologize. I said this kind of in passing before, that you always have to watch a person that always says things and then they always got to come back and apologize. Because to me, once you put your foot in your mouth 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, then I just got to look at you that way. I can't keep giving you additional grace. So I thought he handled this really, really, really well. And I wanted to highlight this. I definitely wanted to highlight this. Yeah, I tell y'all, like, I don't know if I would handle every situation that I see other people handle well. I don't know if I would handle every situation well. I'm telling y'all, like, because when it comes to stuff with your kids, if you have kids, I don't even have to over explain this, but you know that it's a flip the switch and you just hope somebody there that cares about you is there to help you not make a bad mistake. So that's what I'll say. Shout out to Gerald McCoy. Let's catch up on the chat before we move this thing forward. D, you know, some people just can't help themselves from putting their foot in their own mouth. I agree with that. Yes, he handled it well because he's definitely was going to hell on them. Black Pearl, you caught it. He caught himself a couple times, and I'm like, come on, man. The first time I watched this, I was like, stay with me, man. Don't go to that level because you're doing good. So I'm glad he was able to get through the whole thing and just maintain his composure while he handled it. And this needs to be applauded. More people should look at these things and say, people want you to crash out for entertainment, but the crash out is not always the best way to handle it. So I really applaud him for that. It will be difficult for me to respond without a lot of emotion. Much respect to the gentleman. He handled this really well. Let Shedeur make a statement like Cam, they would have kicked him out of the league. Real talk. Detroit Gemini, you talking now. All the stuff, all the character issues that they try to put on Shedeur, it seems like it's other guys that have the character issues that they try to put on Shedeur. I had asthma bad then as a kid, grew out of it, played hard football or basketball, but it was tough too. Long as I hit my inhaler, I was good. One of my closest cousins to me in age, real bad asthma. And I didn't understand it as a kid. I just know, like, you know, when we grew up, man, we made some of the whatever type of games that we could figure out just to have fun because we had to be outside. So it wasn't always you had a basketball, a hoop, or, you know, sometimes it was just racing. You know what I'm saying? You just running up and down the street. Who can get here faster? It was just doing whatever. You climbing on stuff. Who can climb the tree the highest? It was just whatever you could do to entertain yourself because you had to be outside. And my cousin, he always had to have his inhaler, and I would see that he would have issues with breathing. And it would just be, sometimes it would be from him running too hard or doing something too much. And then sometimes it would be from him not doing much at all. So that's not something I joke about. I saw it growing up. And I know that if it was up to him, he wouldn't have wanted to have asthma and need an inhaler. So it's just a foolish thing to do. It's an ignorant way to talk about a subject that somebody just don't understand. I know just what he's saying. I grew up with asthma, and that's nothing to joke about. It's nothing to joke about. My sister had it as a child. There's no way that it's fake. It's no joking matter, for real. Definitely feel where he's coming from, to the point I don't want any of my kids to have it. I agree with that. Hey, D, this is a good topic. Mental health. My daughter had asthma, and I spent countless days and nights in the hospital with her. It ain't no joke. It ain't fake. It's countless people who have dealt with these situations, and people just get up here and diminish it because they don't understand it or they didn't deal with it. It's crazy. I can't remember the exact subject we were talking about, but I remember I was saying I just looked at things a certain way and I never looked at it another way. And somebody asked me a question. I was like, dang, I never looked at it that way. I just admitted that I had a blind spot to never viewing something that way, versus me saying the people who didn't view it like me are wrong. So I'm telling y'all, everybody who has went through something similar understands this. Coach Prime dealing with blood clots, for real. It's a very real thing. He handled this situation well. I agree. He handled it very well. I don't think I would have if I had his platform. Craig, when I always tell y'all, I always highlight when Shedeur handles stuff well. When other people handle stuff well, especially stuff that's close to the kids, I always say it because I know y'all see a calmer version of me, but I grew to become calm. I grew to become calm with more life. I grew to become that way. So, shout out to him. I like that he educated the young person about the situation. Yes, because he had two choices. He could have just crashed out, or he could have took his approach. And I think his approach will have a bigger impact than if he just would have crashed out. If he would have crashed out, it would have been an entertainment piece for people, and it wouldn't have been something that people could have used to actually get a better understanding from. These kids can't climb no trees. Nah, they don't know about that, or jizzle. Y'all know that. Y'all know it was a time where we just had to be outside. In the summer, if you was at home or if you was at your aunt's house and it was all the kids of a certain age, go outside. And then you better not keep opening my door. So that's why we start drinking water out the water hose. Because it's hot, it's humid, And you got to stay outside all day, up here creating games, and in between, you know what I'm saying, you having a triple-double in 21 or 33, whichever y'all call it, where you from. You needed some water, so you hit the water hose because you couldn't go in and out the house. So they don't know about that, Arjizzle. They don't know about that. Did Skattebo attempt to start a fight against CU during the game against Arizona State? I can't remember. I cannot remember. I cannot remember. All right, let's keep it moving forward, y'all. Let's keep it moving forward. I thought this was very important to highlight. Let's keep it going. Now, sports media and the outlook of sports media. We're going to use a short clip of Shannon describing the differences between ESPN or debating Skip and debating Stephen A. Smith. Let's play it. We'll talk later.
Debating with Skip versus debating Stephen A. When I debated Skip on Undisputed, it was a real debate show. It's me versus him. Sometimes he's the defense, I'm the prosecution. Sometimes he's the prosecution. I'm the defense, he's the prosecution. And we're literally trying to win. I'm building my case to beat him. And if I can't beat him, I'm going to punch holes in his argument and then have his fall flat. Stephen A. is more conversational. It's not, I'm trying to beat Stephen A. I'm not trying to beat them guys. I throw a fact and it's like, okay, boom. But it was totally different because at first take, it really wasn't a debate. It was more of a conversation. Ocho, what do you think about this? Joe, what do you think about this? Shannon, what do you think about this?
I'm going to pause them right here. I think that's the difference in what we are seeing in sports media today. They were truly debating points, going point by point, and everybody wants to kind of get the success that Undisputed had, which I don't think you're going to be able to recreate that. And they're using conversations calling them debates, and it's not that. And I believe that's why First Take is going to be different. I keep telling y'all, First Take going to be different because eventually, why do we need to hear y'all conversations about this with no valid points? So I thought this was interesting to highlight because what you're seeing is shows that have panels, they want to have pseudo debates without any of the rules of the debate. They want to talk over people. They want to cut people off. They want to interrupt as soon as you start speaking. That's not debate. A true debate, you have a moderator, you have a time limit, you have how much time that you can speak. You can't overtalk the other person. You got to wait. You're making arguments and counter arguments. So I think people try to do pseudo what Undisputed does, and then it gets to a point where it just looks, it's not entertaining. So I thought this was an interesting, short, very good way of explaining the difference. It was punishment to be inside. C. Brown run. It was. And that was, the funny thing, that is what was used against you. If you come inside this house one more time, you ain't going back outside. What happened? You did not go back inside that house. You just said, man, I'm just going to stay outside because punishment is going to be inside. Don't keep running in and out the house. See, Anderson, you know what I'm talking about. Don't keep running in and out the house. I'm going to tell y'all something funny my dad used to say. I'm not paying the electric bill to send AC to all of Cleveland. He used to say that. And as a kid, you're not thinking about it. Cause you just, you know what I'm saying? You going in the moment, y'all playing, you run inside, you grab something to drink, you like, dang, I forgot this. You run right back inside, you come back inside. When my dad used to say that, he said, I'm not paying the electric bill to have AC for all of Cleveland. As a kid, I was just like, man, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just grabbing something to drink. I forgot this. I needed this. Got to go get this. As an adult, man, oh man, I overstand that. I overstand it. So that's funny. Yeah, you ain't want to get stuck in the house. I don't like Stephen A. Craig, thank you. That's the way thank you. That's, you see how easy that is? That's what I think people should just do. Just say, hey man, I don't like this person. Because that's usually what it is. Skip likes to argue. He do. Skip do like to argue. Remember, no phones, you looking, hold on. Remember, no phones, you looking for friends, ride your bike, and look at lawns. Oh my goodness. We had no phones, and we used to have to create games. We used to create games. Create games. Like I told y'all, any bounce. We used to just create all type of games. Two people got a glove, somebody else don't have a glove. You just created games. The creativity level was at its peak, I think, for kids. Now I think is kind of people don't want kids to be creative, which I think is insane. So people are just trusting their own eyes and opinions more these days. I agree. People are definitely trusting their own eyes. And it's like the people don't hold the value, especially once you realize they're not watching it. Quit letting my air out. Craig, I'm telling you, Craig, me and you, we grew up, we had the same childhood for real, because all the stuff I be saying, you know exactly what it is. We had the same childhood. Let's keep this thing moving, y'all. Let's keep it moving. What we got next on the docket? Don't remind me of the things I did outside because I was afraid to go back indoors. No way was I staying in the house and everyone was outside. Miss K, talk to him. It was, do y'all realize like the punishment we had? It's like as an adult, you can laugh at it now, but the punishment was like, you just had to look out the window and watch everybody else playing and you couldn't play. And you know that they were going to stay outside until the street lights came on. You know they was going to be outside. So as a kid, you know, you're not really paying attention to the time. Man, it could have been an hour. It could have been an hour before the street lights came on. But to a kid, it felt like 2 years. So just the punishment used to get us. Let me see. Jump rope was my favorite. See, Black Pearl, my dad had workout jump ropes. So like when we would go outside and take stuff, because you know you got to take everything outside with you at one time because you can't go back and forth. So we would try to use my dad jump ropes. He had those weighted jump ropes, them things smacking your legs and stuff. We're like, man, we're not bringing the jump rope outside tomorrow. Like not these weighted jump ropes. Stay in or out, you letting the flies in my house, in the words of my mama. Keep at this. I find myself saying that now. Like, I find myself saying that. So in the South, you know, it's bugs. So sometimes I might open the door. The door is cracked open a little bit in the summer. The first thing I think of, man, you let flies in here. You let all these flies in here. So shout out to your mom, because I view that the same way. D, and I bet you wouldn't say you're bored either. Oh my goodness, Craig. If you say you bored, you might as well ask for punishment, because if you say you bored, it's going to be, they're going to come up with the craziest thing for you to clean. The craziest thing for you to clean. Never say you bored. Never say you bored. Never. You say you bored? Oh, you bored? Okay. I got something for you to do. Go down to the basement, and I got 2 boxes of books. I want you to organize the books in alphabetical order and then put them back in the boxes. And you like, I ain't never saying I'm bored again. Never. Never saying I'm bored again. Let me see. My family used to say that I'm not trying to cool the outside. For real. Everybody, I'm telling y'all, we had the same childhood, y'all. We had the same childhood. Yeah, staying outside all night, hide and go seek, out there just making up stuff. Detroit Gemini just making up all type of games, because you knew you had about 12 hours to be outside. So you just like, man, we got to create something. Girls don't play hopscotch or jacks no more. Oh, no way. I went on a walk the other day and I saw what is the game? Dang, why can I not think of the name of it? What is the game where you draw the boxes and the numbers on the concrete and then people jump through it? I saw that on the ground. I was so surprised. So surprised. It was like that till I got the NES. Then my home was the Game Central. Man, when we got the first Nintendo, we could only play it a lot on the weekends. On the weekends. You couldn't play it like that during the week. But we was on the weekends, yeah, you could play it. Long day sitting in the window watching everybody else outside playing. Oh my goodness. Torture. It's torture. You sitting there just watching everybody else playing like. You know you're not going back outside till tomorrow. You know you're not. Boys can't even pop willies no more. No willies. Willies is done. They don't do that. And now I don't care who out there. I ain't going. Handball and wire rope for double dutch. If you bored, you had to clean up. That was just asking to clean up. You saying bored. Bored meant clean up or errands for you. For real. We used to play dodgeball or hide and go seek. Yep. Bored wasn't in our vocabulary. We could invent a game. You just make some stuff up. You would make some stuff up. Like, we going to play something. Hopscotch. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Y'all got me together. It's hopscotch. I had a smiling moment when I was on my walk the other day and I saw the hopscotch stuff drawn on the concrete. I was like, thank you, man. Kids being kids again. Thank you. Thank you. Detroit Gemini said, I was the queen of jacks. My grandkids say that they are bored and they have so much more than we ever had. So much more. So much more. I go to sleep. I'm not staying up and watching somebody else play outside. Zedric, you was smart. That's a smart approach for real. You think about it, because I don't know why when I would get stuck in the house, I just watched them play for hours. Just like, man, why can't I go outside? But Zedric, I need to be more like you. Going to sleep, that's the hack right there. You just go to sleep and just wake up for dinner. Smart. Smart. Welcome back, Ivy League Mac. Welcome back. We're just catching up, just reminiscing. Let's get this thing going forward. We got Tony Grossi. Kids these days, it's too hot out there. That wasn't a thing when I was growing up. I don't ever remember as a kid saying it was hot. I don't ever remember as a kid saying it was hot. I think the first time I remember a lot of stuff from my childhood. I remember the first time I really was like, wait, this is a different type of air. We would go to Alabama in the summer. My family's in Alabama, Birmingham. So we would go to Alabama in the summer, and I remember it was our normal. We would just go outside and we would play all day. So I went outside in Alabama, y'all. I was outside maybe for 20 minutes, and I was like, it's so hot out here. But I don't remember saying it ever when I was in Ohio, in Cleveland. I don't remember ever saying it in Cleveland, but I remember when we was in Alabama, that's when I felt the heat. Before that, I didn't really feel it. My parents was from Georgia and Alabama. I have to go down south every summer. The most fun time I had. Life don't owe me nothing. Miss Brown, you know what I'm talking about. Miss Brown, you know what I'm talking about. We would go to Alabama spend a long time there in the summer. And the things I remember the most was like the bugs. Of course I remember the bugs. We always did a Friday fish fry where everybody would get together, and I was super picky with the fish because they wouldn't take the bones out the fish. So you had to eat it and take the bones out. So that's the things I remember the most about the Alabama summer, and that heat. That heat was something different. Jackson Sacco paddle was my favorite. Marbles. Remember the old days when everyone was skinny because we was outside. We used to make ramps for our bikes, our jizzle. Man, I almost took myself out trying to make a ramp. Because we was using some messed up wood that we found next to somebody's house that was not good at all. I got a jack set, just waiting for Gigi to get old enough to teach her. C. Anderson, thank you. Teach them the games that we grew up on. Teach them the games we grew up on. Kickball was our jam in the neighborhood. That or riding bikes. We had a park behind our neighborhood. It's a kid's dream. Man, that is a cheat code. Having a park. So a lot of places I live, we had to just play in the street. But we did live in townhomes a couple different times. And it wasn't a park. It was just a big field. And that field, man, one day you playing baseball. One day you playing kickball. One day you playing any bounce. One day you playing football. Man, we use that field for everything. Everything. Too hot, we played in the snow. Yeah, snow, you load up every clothes, all the clothes you got, go outside. Playing football in the snow is the best because you don't got to hit the ground. You hit in the snow. Southern summers probably had you shook. Too hot and humid down there. Zedric. Man, I was out there 20 minutes like, what is this? Blockbuster renting games. Tool Man, renting that game on the what was it? You got it Friday, and you had the special for 3 days. You had the Friday, Saturday, had a returning Sunday by 6 p.m. To a man, I know about that. This Texas heat ain't no joke, and we stayed out all day. I used to be outside so long. My mother used to say, "You smell like outside. Go take a bath." Our jizzle, that's a fact. I think all of us got told that. Boy, you smell like outside. I wonder about that now. I don't ever remember being too hot as a child, and now I wonder how I survived outside. Yeah, I didn't really. Whenever I was in Ohio, the heat never got to me. But Alabama, it was something different. My summers were spent in New Orleans, and I thought I was in. My summers were spent in New Orleans, and I thought I was in New York. New Orleans also got a different level of humidity. Different level of humidity down there. I went to New Orleans in the summer. It's hot. Learning how to entertain yourself creates strong problem-solving skills. I agree with that. Ivy League Mac. Little children do not know how to have fun anymore. I would make mud pies with that red Alabama dirt. Hey, Williams, what you know about that Alabama dirt? My dad, whenever we go to Alabama, always bringing back a jar of Alabama dirt. Like, this the good dirt. Boy, you smell like outside, for real. Stayed at Blockbuster, especially when it was a game I wanted to test and see if it was worth owning. Zedric, you had to get the 3. I'm telling you, that weekend deal was the best. You get it Friday, Saturday, Sunday by 6. You got to bring it back. I still remember that. Yeah, bugs used to get me. I remember girls racing barefoot, made them run faster. I remember everybody, when you was like racing each other, everybody just took their shoes off. Everybody did. Y'all got me running down memory lane. For real. This is throwback in the middle of the stream. Smell like outside me, and the wife was just talking about that yesterday. I'm telling y'all, we lived the same childhood. We had so much fun in New Orleans, especially coming from a small city. It was different experiences. It was a simpler time to be a kid because you weren't exposed to as much. So I think we were way more creative. Only because we had to be. Now, if we would have had, iPads and, more video games and all that, maybe we would have been less creative, but definitely was creative. Shout out to y'all for that throwback session. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all for that nice throwback session. This is the part of the stream that I like the most, y'all. When we can just talk, reminisce. I'm telling y'all, it's not about a subject really. That's the part of the stream I like the most. I always wonder, what exactly does outside smell like? What does outside smell like? I don't know if I have a description for you. 8 stitches in the chin as a badge of honor. Only 1 brace enough or dumb enough. I had to get stitches in my leg from cutting them behind the next door neighbor's house, and I still got a scar there. Yes, we had actually childhood. The Bronx, New York was rough, but we had fun. Yeah. You know what? And you see it through a different lens, because one of the places we lived at in Cleveland, like I drove back through there the last time I was home, and I was like, man, it ain't no way we should have just been playing outside here. No way. But, we made the best of it. Let's keep it pushing forward. Tony Grossi, clearing the air. People giving Tony Grossi props. It's 2 parts of this that I want to highlight. One is at the very beginning, he's going to take back kind of what he said, walk it back. And then the other one is he's going to say what he could envision Shedeur doing for next year. I cleaned up when Blockbuster was going out of business. Oh, man. They had everything so cheap. My aunt used to tell her sons they smell like growing boy. Growing boy? I haven't heard that one. I always heard the outside. I've already told the family no tablets or phones until they're teenagers. Got to keep them grounded in reality. Man, I really like that. That's really smart. Really smart, Zedric. Really smart. Those were great times. I agree. Marie, what is going on? What's going on, Marie?
Everybody stay on that side when they switched up. You switched up, stay on that side, man.
What's going on, Marie? Yeah, we had a nice throwback session. Nice throwback session. Well, I am a boomer, and we had to be in when the street lights came on. Powerful, we did too. Them street lights come on, and don't be somewhere on your bike when the street lights come on. Oh, you racing back. You race him back. He doesn't deserve props. The switch up is coming soon from Tony. I think he switched up immediately. So I saw people giving him props, and I was like, it's Tony. Let's see. Let me copy this. But listen to what he's going to say.
Show earlier today. I've turned the corner on Shedeur Sanders. I think he deserves every chance to be the guy. Tony, you got everybody fired up with that. What's going on?
My bad, Joe.
No. Here's what I meant.
I listen to everything on Chipmunk Mode on the internet, y'all. I'm sorry. I can't give this stuff to 11 minutes. I'm sorry. This is what he said.
Like last year, I wouldn't have said at all he deserves to be the guy. What I'm saying now is he deserves the opportunity to show if he's the guy. Or I wouldn't, he was fourth last year, and I thought that's the way the pecking order was established. So I am very curious to see what Monken can do with Shedeur Sanders, given the fact that he showed improvement over the course of his 7 starts. He matured as a professional football player, I thought, and a professional quarterback. Now we need to see a lot of improvement on the field, to be honest with you. But I think that the mechanism is.
Yeah, a lot of people were giving Tony credit for what he said on ESPN Cleveland, the Rizzo show. To me, I always side-eyed him. Tony has been kind of turning the curve, but he walked back his own statement. He walked back in here. Then this is something that
everybody stay on that side when they switched up. You switched up, stay on that side, man.
The main point of this stream is to get an understanding of what Shedeur could do to improve going into year 2. I actually think Tony is going to give a better answer to that question than Jason Lloyd does. So let's get to when he says that. We're going to skip forward. We don't got to listen to all this in the middle. It's going to be here.
Like Riz brought up, what would stop them from drafting a quarterback in 2027? Yeah. And Riz specifically brought up like a Drake May second year bump. Like not necessarily, I don't think he meant like a Super Bowl appearance, but Drake May was very good his second season. I think second team All-Pro.
Yeah, he was an MVP candidate.
Candidate.
Yeah.
So, like in your mind, what does Shedeur need to do, expectation-wise, to like make them think, all right, we do not need to draft a quarterback in 2027?
Riz is the one who brought up Drake May, not me. I will say this: Drake May had a much better rookie year than Shedeur Sanders had as a rookie. Okay.
Yeah.
We saw him.
Okay. I don't know.
Everybody stay on that side when they switched up. You switched up, stay on that side, man.
I don't know. I don't know about that, Tony, but let's see what else you say.
Tear the Browns apart as a rookie.
Yeah.
With a bad team. Okay. So, I think that he's got to have more wins than losses. Mm-hmm. He's got to cut down on the turnovers, and he's got to lead the team when it needs to be led, like in the fourth quarter, like he really did in the Cincinnati game to end the season. But there's got to be more than one play a game, or one possession a game. Got to be consistent, positive possessions. I think that was the one thing that distinguished him. There was always that one possession that got you excited, but that kind of was it in a game. Yeah.
So I didn't agree with the earlier portion of what he was saying. The earlier portion of what he was saying, I didn't agree with. Talking about Drake May had a better rookie year. Drake May's rookie year wasn't that good. But okay. But when he got to talking more, the only part the only part that makes sense is when he's saying what Shedeur can do going into year 2. I actually believe he gave tangible things Shedeur can do. And whether I agree with him or not agree with him, that's what it is. But he gave tangible things. Consistency, even if you make mistakes, come back at the end of the game, put your team in a position to win, limit the turnovers. As surface level as they are things that he could use to improve. So, okay. I guess it's to Tony Grossi. Let me catch up on this, and then we're going to get to the main event. And the main event is going to involve some film work as well. Otto Graham, man, it was that long since we had an all pro QB. Oh my goodness, man, oh man. I think I got you when you said play on that side again. And to think Blockbuster turned down by Netflix, they did. They had no vision. He only took the side he did because he didn't like his popularity and appeal to Dylan. Now he wants to be objective. He's trying, but it still seeps out. He's trying to keep a job for real. I'm cool on all of them. Now, Grossi, you tripping? Say what now, Drake May? Bull is having weight loss procedure done. Oh, interesting. Stay on that side. Grossi, nothing has changed. You sound the same. Boy, bye. What's going on, CSA? Usually part of the replay gang. Shout out to you. Grossi sounds crazy. How can Shedeur not deserve playing time because he was fourth string, but then say he proved himself based on the 7-game performance? Either wrong then or wrong now. Ivy League Mac. You found it. He did have some positive possession. Y'all just overshadowed it with negative ones to say he was bad. They did that. What the hell are you talking about? Grossi, Shedeur made more than one play a game. He did. That's what they want to highlight. They're not taking into account that May has a team that wanted him and was willing to work with him. Ardizzle, that is the major thing when they're comparing Shedeur to all these other guys. Major thing. He also had a coach who wanted him to have success. Never any comments on bad play calling, for real. No QB killed it this year in the NFL. Football in Cleveland is just a QB, not a team sport. That's what they make it seem. Drake May had a better coach, team structure, and still got sacked like crazy. Man, talk to him. So there's something, and Zedric, shout out to you for what you sent me. I like that. I'm going to play that later. Shedeur has to do what every good QB has to do. The over-scrutinize Shedeur has to stop. I like to see Shedeur tighten up on the deep ball accuracy. A number of the deep balls was just slightly off, ever so slightly. Reps will fix that, and protection. Okay. Drop 3 things in the chat that y'all want Shedeur to work on as we push forward through the main event.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Let's get to it. So yesterday, this happened on UCSS. We are going to listen to what Jason Lloyd says Shedeur needs to work on. And let's go and play this here.
Take for you. What would you need to see that would be the most important, where you would go and say, after 2026, I think the Browns might have found a quarterback. What does he have to do statistically or and specifically for you, the eye test as well?
Does the offense pull its weight, number one? Because the offense.
So we're going to start. I used to be a recruiter. Y'all notice I've spoke about it a bunch of different times. When people respond in something that's vague and is not concrete, usually that highlights a lack of understanding. So the first thing he said was, what can Shedeur do? That's the question. What can Shedeur do to solidify himself in 2026 to be the QB in 2027? The first thing he says was the offense pulling its weight. That's not quantifiable. When I was a recruiter, they would say, this is not a quality candidate. What is a quality candidate? They couldn't quantify it. Jason Lloyd is not able to quantify it here. Let's listen to the next thing he's going to say.
Offense didn't pull its weight last year. So is the offense functioning at a high level? Is it thriving? And
is the offense functioning at a high level? Is it thriving? Again, you can't really quantify that. Well, let's keep it moving. Let's see if he gives us something he could quantify.
This goes back to what I said. You know when you see it.
Right.
Is he?
You know it when you see it. Okay.
Is he throwing picks on early downs? Is he taking sacks on late downs?
Is he throwing picks on early downs? Is he taking sacks on late downs? So that's something you could quantify. I'm not saying it's good things, but we're going to see.
Is he holding on to the ball too long? Now, there's quarterbacks. Caleb Williams holds on to the ball really long, and then he makes really good things happen at the end. part of the reason, if his advanced metrics were great, everybody would love him. The fact that they aren't good is why everyone's like, screw them, they don't mean anything. Well, the reason they got there is because he was throwing interceptions on early downs and he was taking sacks on late downs. And when you take sacks on late downs, it takes you out of field goal range. It takes you out of the ability to go for it on fourth down. This is all the game of, on third down, do you put yourself in position to go for it on fourth down now, or if you take a sack on 3rd and 4, well, now it's 4th and 8. Now you got to punt. So it's those types of things, and that's why, again, it goes beyond the numbers. But does he have command? I do think that there's guys who believe in him. I've never doubted that at all. I just think that I see a lot more problems than I think other people do, and we'll find.
Okay. I'm not always on social media, so I'll tell y'all something about me. I know to some people they can think it's overwhelming. I'm on social media. I have social media platforms. I don't even have alerts for any of my social media. I don't have alerts for it because I don't want it to overconsume me. Yesterday, I was doing something and I happened to be on X in the middle of the day when this came out. And this was my response to this video. Jason says things that leave too much room for interpretation. Offense pulling its weight. Then uses metrics that are tracked by EPA. Early down interceptions, late down sacks. Lack of understanding is what I hear from Jason. The reason why I say lack of understanding is because he starts to quote parts of EPA. Now, to most people who don't know what EPA tracks, they wouldn't catch that. But since I know what EPA tracks, I knew what he was doing. He is the early down interception, late down sacks, that thing, that's EPA. Those are directly tied to EPA. He is prematurely laying groundwork to be able to criticize Shedeur in the offense through the lens of EPA. And he's doing that because he cannot come up with concrete things that Shedeur could do to solidify himself as the QB1. That's all it is. Simple. But that's okay. Content creators, shout out to y'all for watching. I appreciate y'all. There's some game for you. I could spend 2 hours breaking down his lack of understanding. Or I can answer the question. We gonna answer the question, y'all. Let's get to it. I'm gonna catch up on y'all comments. We gonna answer the question. That's how we gonna handle this. We gonna answer the question, y'all. That's what we gonna do. We're gonna catch up on the comments and then we gonna get to it. Let's see. I like to see. I got that one. On the deep ball accuracy. Okay, I got that one. Does the offense pull its weight? That's not just on the QB. I agree with that. Black Pearl. Take what the defense gives you. Get on the same page with receivers and tight ends. It's okay to throw the ball away. I like that. I think that's fair. He can't play for 11 guys. Talk to him. Comfort with line of receivers. Dissecting defense pre and post snap. Trust the fundamentals. Not do too much. All controllables. Talk to me, y'all. See, this is what I'm talking about. We are getting to the football in this situation. We get into the football. These are all things that are quantifiable. Not lack of understanding, obfuscation, and he doesn't want to plant his flag on tangibles as he loses negative narrative leverage. He ain't answered the question. See, I think he is using things that EPA tracks so he can bring back EPA later. The problem is the new head coach of the Cleveland Browns disagrees with things that are tracked in EPA. I'm not just going to tell you. I'm going to actually play his own words. So this is all on Shedeur. That's what he wants it to be. Jason can't answer why those things were happening. Caleb had similar moments to Shedeur in his rookie year. He did. I would like for the O-line to protect Shedeur, the wide receivers to catch the ball. Shedeur take care of the rest. He knows what he has to work on. I trust he and Munkin will get it right. I like that. Footwork on handoffs, throwing the ball away, being more vocal. I like that. Y'all see how we having a real conversation here? Caleb doesn't always make good things happen when holding the ball, but when he does, it's all good. I agree with that. Left off on Craig. Let's see. Whoa. Slow down, chat. Accuracy in taking the underneath crossing throws and using his legs more at times, throwing the ball away. I like that. 3 developmental areas for Shedeur. Improved TD to interception ratio. Win at least 8 games. 68% completion ratio. I like those. Those are quantifiable. Kevin was running on early downs and throwing on late downs. He was doing a lot of that. His opinion does not matter. I agree. Shedeur's struggles last season reminded me of Caleb's first year. The first thing the Bears did was improve the O-line. Improve the O-line, improve the wide receivers. Jason is blaming the bad offense solely on Shedeur. And that isn't fair. When the offense actually got better when Shedeur got in, but he won't say that. He won't. He can't move off EPA because that's his way of knowing. Zedric sees it. He sees it. One of my biggest critiques of EPA is they go against football fundamentals. Offense pulling their weight is not Shedeur's fault. No, miss me with that, for real. Putting Shedeur in 3rd and longs all the time, for real. I don't know enough about football to critique anyone's game like that. I'll tell you at the end of 2026. Y'all, please take notes. It's been a couple times today where it's probably not the answer that people want to hear, but it's the truth and honest answer. Detroit Gemini Black Pearl, I don't like Dan Orlovsky. Craig, I don't like Stephen A. Smith. I don't know who the last All-Pro was for the Browns. I'm not going to try to make it up. C.A. Anderson, I don't know enough about football to critique anyone's game like that. I'll tell you at the end of 2026. Sometimes that's the answer, y'all, and that is perfectly fine. I think that is coming from a position of strength. When you acknowledge, give me some more time, I can come back with a better answer. I like that. I appreciate that. Agreed on that, laying the groundwork for negative, deeper dose of block narrative, diabolical. Yeah, that's what he's doing. He laying the trap. Jason Lloyd just shows he doesn't know the game. I agree. He's dug in. He would never give Shedeur any credit. I agree with that. I kind of jumped ahead. Okay, here we go. Lazy reporting. I agree. Bull is full of it. I agree. Is EPA used by NFL teams or is it a metric only used by the media? Miss K? I like that question. So, EPA, it seems like it just popped out of nowhere. If you've been a football fan the last 10 years, the next question I'm going to ask you to put the answer to in the chat is, when did you start hearing about EPA? Because to me, EPA is a last 3-year stat. And I'll tell you how the stat was popularized, and you can look this up later because I can't play it on the stream because it actually happened on Fox. Everybody likes Ben Johnson. When Ben Johnson was still the OC for Detroit, he said, don't look at touchdown interception ratio. Don't look at this stat. Use EPA to determine if a quarterback is good. That's what Ben Johnson said. Ben Johnson is an up-and-coming offensive mind at the time before he was head coach. Colin Cowherd, it happened on Colin Cowherd's show. Colin Cowherd ran with the EPA, and it trickled down into the rest of the media of them using EPA. EPA is a stat that can't even be tracked prior to 1999. It just came out of nowhere because they followed Ben Johnson saying it. You can look this up. You can look it up. Lloyd is focused on EPA because his position is based on passion, not principles. I can't wait till the EPA narrative flips on his head. If he's top 10 in EPA, what will we say then? He won't say anything. I'm not messy, but I did see a CC or a content creator use one of your sound effects and they had never used it before last night. I couldn't do nothing but laugh. Or jizzle. Once you see it, you cannot see it. Now you see why I had to get to the point of just laughing at it. I just laugh, man. I just laugh. Even last year, there were still some issues. Monken is much better play caller than Stefanski ever was. I agree with that. At this point, I don't really care what Jason has to say, and people should stop trying to change his mind. If all those things are corrected, there will be new issues for him. Never satisfied. I agree with that. That's why I said we could have spent the hour just going over Jason Lloyd, or we could use this as a jumping board to us having a good conversation, which that's what we're going to do. O-line is not played by one person, i.e. Shedeur. Hold on. Jason Lloyd, just say there is nothing Shedeur can do to make him provide positive feedback. It's simple. Yes, less issues, but they still existed. D, they're now saying wins are not a QB stat. Do you agree with that? No. No. The quarterback has the opportunity to have the biggest impact on the game because every offensive snap they touch the ball, unless you're Kevin Stefanski and you run the Wildcat. But normally, they touch the ball the most. They have the biggest impact on the game. So people are trying to move off that because they're going to have to highlight people that they don't want to highlight. That's what they're going to have to do. It's Otto Graham in 1995. That's so crazy. 1955, the last All-Pro. Man, that's crazy. Also, Shedeur needs better play calling. I agree. I can become objective once Shedeur gets a better offensive line. Kevin Thornton, Shedeur's passing game. I agree. I do not like Jason Lloyd. I don't like him either. He was just consistently better with more experience. They don't realize that Browns QBs can grow and be better rather than just discarding a player after a rough year. I agree. Once Shedeur became a starter, let's see. Dan didn't irritate me before he got his contract extension. One football I watched as a child. I never heard of EPA until Jason trash comments. Who really cares? I'm so done with that. I expect Shedeur to make good decisions, and I can't see a world where he doesn't have success if he has more than 1.5 seconds to let plays develop and make reads. I agree. Because of messed up situation, lack of coaching, Shedeur received as a rookie last season is a wash for me. This is the season I will judge him on. I like that, Black Pearl. One where that particular QB was on the back burner too. Blame Mr. Not My Focus, for real. Wins everything. Hey, y'all, I'm glad my piece and don't be listening to all these ninjas y'all naming. Crowd Collective, what is going on? What's going on? What is going on? Not one eye. This phone puts in its own words. My work phone. So just, I'm not going to a long tangent, but I like other stuff. I like tech. So this is the phone that I use for like all my social media when I do my stuff for OffThaRecordDee, and I have like a actual keyboard like BlackBerry style, and sometimes I gotta type like it don't want me to use caps in a row, so I gotta change it. So I get what you're saying. Jason's not blaming his good friend Stefanski for nothing that happened to Shedeur play, but GM, read the room for real. Definitely read the room. All right, let's get to it. So. All right, decent time. Not too bad on time. Let's do this. Let's switch this up. We're going to do some comment creeping. Let's get it here. Okay, so shout out to Shanithia. Shanithia asked me this comment on Patreon, and this was a very good question. She asked me this about 3 weeks ago. D, you got a list of top things Shedeur needs to show improvement on going into year 2. I was pleasantly surprised with this question. I like when we can talk about football. I like it. I thought Bernie Kosar was an all-pro too. That would have been my first guess. Talk to a Detroit Gemini. I do not like Jason Lloyd, the end. They're trying to get in front of the successful season Shedeur about to have. I agree. They need to stop worrying about Shedeur, focus on those people catching his balls, because Shedeur going to throw accurate with all hands, bodies, heads in his face. Yep, focus on those catching, for real. What QBs are currently on the Raiders roster? Geno is gone. I don't know. Can somebody look it up? Can somebody look up who they have on the Raiders? Somebody look that up for me. So this was my answer when Shanithia asked me this question. Shout out to Shanithia. She part of Replay Gang. Improve decision making. When teams disguise their fronts, get in sync with his receivers so they're seeing the game the same. He's already working on this. He's putting in work with them. Attack defense with the check down, especially when Sampson's in the game and the linebackers drop deep in coverage. So that's what I want to see Shedeur work on. That's what I want to see. I have some film we're going to look at to show you from a football lens what I'm saying. Let's get it. Gronk says EPA is 50% zero QB, 25% play calling, 10 to 20% all line, 8 to 15 wide receiver, 5 to 10 other weather referee random. Yeah, EPA, it tracks a decent amount of things, but there are a lot of things it doesn't track. It's a lot of things it doesn't track. I did a whole breakdown of EPA a couple months ago, going into the details of it. So that's how I knew that he was reading right from EPA. I knew he was reading right from EPA. One of the flaws in EPA is if you have, I'm not going to long EPA tangent, but one of the flaws in EPA is if you take, if you have an interception on an early down, but let me say this right. It negatively impacts your rating on a early down interception. But what happens if that early down interception is in the first quarter? What happens if that early down or if that late down sack is in the first quarter? And you come back and win the game. EPA makes that too negative. It's too negative. So for me, EPA is flawed. It's something you can use as a gauge. I think it's a better gauge of the offense than it is of the one person. So I don't highlight turnovers as something to work on because turnovers will happen. Turnovers will happen. It's part of the game. Sacks will happen. Part of the game. So those aren't things I think he needs to work on. But EPA has some flaws. I can go the whole tangent of EPA. Let me not get too off track. 3 things he should work on: turnovers, being confident. Turnovers, I think they're going to happen. Being confident, I like that approach because he needs someone to believe in him. They believe in him now, so I think he'll be confident. So these are some of the things that I'm looking at. Let me get my drawing tool here. Wednesdays throughout the season, we will do more of this. I always enjoy when we get to this part of the season. We're really talking about the football. That's the part I enjoy. So here, you are seeing, this is in the Tennessee game, week 14. You are seeing a lot of guys at the line of scrimmage. A lot of guys at the line of scrimmage right here. This is, I believe this is on 3rd and 5. 3rd and 5. This is another reason why EPA is not really that good. This is pre-snap. Let's go. Post-snap. Now, initially, you would think, let's look over here. But they got guys in position to shut this down. They have let me get my life together. They have a running back chipping out the backfield. He is right here. This is Jerome Ford. Once Shedeur goes to the initial side, identifies I can't go there for the answer, he is going to get to turn his head around, and he is going to use the running back to attack the linebackers playing deep. Look how far back they are, y'all. So one of my things I want him to work on is use this more to attack, especially with Dylan Sampson out the backfield. Jerome Ford is he signed somewhere else, so we can't use Jerome Ford, but Jerome Ford was actually good at this. We only need 5 yards. Let me go. You see how far back they are. He identifies Jerome Ford as there. Now it's Jerome Ford in space to get 5 yards. One defender who really has a good opportunity to stop him. What y'all think the outcome is? Jerome Ford in space? They can't get good angles to stop him? Jerome Ford easily gets the first down. Easily gets the first down. Now, I'll tell you something else. Because he threw that pass shorter than the distance to gain, EPA considers this a negative play. They consider this negative. When you throw the ball shorter than the distance needed to gain on 3rd and 4th down, EPA dings you. So you get a first down, and it dings you. So just wanted to highlight that for y'all. This is one of the things I want him to utilize. When they drop that far back, you need to attack them with the running back. Attack them underneath. Attack them. If you were watching, if you're part of Patreon, part of the paid membership, you know that the game that we recapped this week was when the Browns played the Chiefs in Kansas City. The Chiefs saw a lot of cover 3 coverage that Joe Woods used to run. You saw them continuously attack the Browns underneath and get big chunk plays. Sometimes when they're taking away things deep, attack them underneath. Attack them, y'all. Let's go to my next one. My next thing I want him to work on. The next thing I want him to work on, this happened versus the Chicago Bears. Timing with receivers, seeing the game the same way as receivers. So, what did we see a lot of people do? They try to crowd the line of scrimmage for Shedeur. Try to confuse him with what they're going to run. A lot of times they dropped out. Now, Shedeur is reading this right. He is reading this right, y'all. So right here, he sees Isaiah Bond. They're in zone. The hole is right here. That's where he's looking. It's so wide open. This defender is going to just run from his responsibility because he sees how open that is, and they will give up the first down. Now, if they were on the same page, Isaiah Bond would get to this point and settle down. He wouldn't keep going this way. That's not what happened because they're not on the same page. They didn't get enough time together. Hopefully they're getting that time together in the offseason. Let's show what happens. Isaiah Bond is still in that open area, but he is still going towards the other defender instead of sitting down. Shedeur threw it for him to sit down in between the defenders. He ended up sliding the ball, ended up being behind him. That's an example of football reasons, something I want to see them do. Get on the same page. See the defense the same way. Identify, man, it's a big hole right here. It's past the first down. We can get a first down here. Be on the same page. That's the second thing I want him to work on. That's going to come with timing. He has a coach who believes in him, so he should get a lot more time so they can get on the same page. The last thing is another opportunity where he could use the defense dropping back far to attack them out of the backfield. He could attack them. So let's go. Let's go here. So they're gonna do something. They ran him here, so you got 3 here. You don't have this capped off by 3 defenders. This is an easy identification that this is going to be zone. This side of the field is going to be hard to beat because you got 4 guys here. 4 on 3. 4 on 3. Hard to beat. Hard to beat that. Let's let it go. Now you're watching it play out. Man, it's not going to work. He's still trying to see what this he's reading this defender right here. What this defender is going to do. At this point, I would just like him to start looking for the check down to attack the check down. Because then the defenders played it properly. So now he has to extend the play to get back to the check down where he had Dylan Sampson in space. Dylan Sampson did something smart. He's on the same page with Shedeur. He's going to see Shedeur escape this way. He's going to go that way with him to give him a window to throw the ball to. Right here. He gets it to him. Dylan Sampson makes a guy miss in space. So that's what I want to see. This is what I want to see. I want to see him attack it in that way. Tangible things that you can really see and watch them develop over time. More tangible things. So those are the things I want to see. I can't wait till we get back to football, y'all. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I can't wait till we get back to football. Let's catch up on the chat, and then I'm going to play one thing from Todd Monken that somebody missed, and then we're going to play what Zedric sent me from Boog. So let's go here, and let's catch up on the chat. Where we at? I think I left off here. Example, his dominant landed in Judy's chest in the end zone that Judy handed to the coverage. You see it, Musgrave saw it when he said that was a good throw. Now we just have to find someone to catch the ball. For real. He thinks we're not paying attention, trying to find a roundabout way to talk about EPA. That's exactly what he's doing. Turnovers is going to happen, but when they happen is what matters. I agree with that, and that's why EPA is flawed in that way, because the down is more important than if they happen in the first quarter versus the fourth. Trevor Siemian to the Falcons, Andy Dalton to the Eagles. Yeah, I saw those. Trevor Siemian, he been in the league a long time. Penix is the odd man out. Penn has got an injury history too, so I don't. Hopefully, he is able to get back and get healthy. If they get a running back in the draft, he needs to be great in pass pro. I agree. I think people are a little bit harder or more critical on Dylan Sampson in pass protection. But if you look at most rookie running backs are not good in pass protection because it's not about if you physically can do it. It's about knowing who is your responsibility. And when you're blocking as a running back in the backfield, your responsibility changes with the offensive line changes. So that's more of an understanding thing. I don't think it's effort, size, or any of that. Is you understanding who you're supposed to block and not kind of getting in the quarterback's way when doing it. So that comes with time. I was watching something. Maurice Jones-Drew said the way he learned to be a better pass blocker as a running back was he would sit in on offensive line meetings to understand what the responsibilities were. And when they were checking the different things, he knew exactly who he was responsible for. I always wonder when y'all go over the plays, does that give the opposing team a heads up / advantage? Nah. They going over way more than us. Everybody has access to the film and they're going over way more than us. If you are waiting until like on a Wednesday when I go over it, you already behind because you already got to have your game plan in place. Already got to have it in place. He is an older QB, must be for the practice squad. Yeah, Trevor Siemian been around for a minute. Just watched this game Sunday. Man, I watched like 75 plays last night. I enjoy it. They act like Mendoza only played in Indiana. They do. All right, we're not even gonna read that. Clinton, you tripping. Let's keep going. Stefanski will be one and done. Too damn dumb to take minimum changes in year one so he can say, give me another year till appendix is fully rehabbed. Yeah, I don't know what they got going on in Atlanta, man. I'm just happy we don't have those problems no more. Skattebo said CTE and asthma aren't real. The offense of 2025 was not designed for him. Shedeur made the best of a bad situation. That's not the easiest thing to do. Shedeur is the most exciting player to watch in football, period. I agree with that. I totally agree with that because a lot of his rollouts were designed for a left-handed quarterback. They didn't even have the decency to flip it when Shedeur was in, which made no sense. So they put him in situations where he was throwing across his body more often to the short side of the field than utilizing the wide side of the field on rollouts and bootleg. It didn't make sense. Didn't make sense. Whoops, where we at? Shedeur has a history of having to go in and turn things around wherever he plays. That's true. KC, what's going on? I've been in the background listening to working. What's going on, KC? I just read what Skattebo said. There's definitely a double standard with him and Dart. They say completely insane and immature things in the media, and folks chalk it up to them joking. They do. And that was irresponsible what he said. It's just my end. Yes, I think we see a similar situation to last year, 2026. Cleveland Falcons. Not Cleveland Falcons. That's a fact, D. Yeah, speaking on the blocking. Bad take on Tiny Sampson. That's not true. He played in the SEC where most guys end up in the NFL. Look up what he did. Look up what he did at Tennessee in the SEC and then come back and let me know if it's a bad take. If you don't like what I say I don't like it. It's simple. We clear here. Or if you don't have to understand it, just say that. Maurice Jones-Drew was also a tiny running back, the one who I actually gave the example about. So, hey, if you don't like what I say that. If you don't understand, say that. We can talk about it. Zeke Elliott said the same thing about learning to block. He sat in the O-line room in Dallas. Come on, man. We really talking about football over here. This is Eliminate the Gray. This is not a hot take session. This is not just us speaking on things we lack understanding for. Find me the running back. In year one, they were a better pass blocker than they were in years to come. Come on, man. It's too much. It's too much for a rookie to take on. If you don't believe me, just go listen to the running backs who did it. People pass away from asthma attacks all the time. It's not a joking matter. Don't take your health for granted. I agree with you, Maya. It was very ignorant and immature what Skattebo said. That running back they brought in off the practice squad did a great job at the end of the season. I like both of the running backs they brought in at the end of the year. They were on the practice squad all year. So caught up on the chat. another thing, let's listen to what Todd Monken, I played this the other day, but it makes more sense now. Sometimes in football, you are doing things to set up other things. Everything is not the ultimate result of what you think it is. So if you're trying to get a team from showing 8-9 in the blocks, you can do outside screens to wide receivers to get them out of that. You can take advantage of it, get them on the perimeter. You could do things like that to attack it. Some of those things don't jive with EPA and some analytics, and it's the flaw of them when people use them and they lack the understanding. So let's get to what Todd Monken said the other day. I played this, but it's going to make sense now. This directly goes against the EPA stat. EPA, if you don't get a certain amount of yards on a play, they consider it negative. Then when you get to third down, if you don't get half of the necessary yards, they consider it negative. That's for people who don't understand football, and they needed a way to gauge if this was a good or bad play because they lack understanding. Let's listen to Todd Monken.
My mind of like effective offense, like if you turn it over, you're not going to be good on offense. But you can't just take a knee every play to not turn it over, right? That's the one end. That's the South Pole. The North Pole is you got to be explosive, and you don't give a shit about anything else. We're just trying to be explosive. And you turn it over, or you're not very good at third down, you don't score touchdowns. Like, well, great. There's still a sweet spot. How are we explosive, but how are we still conscientious of not turning it over in how we game plan and what we do?
Certainly with this running back room, you would think that the screen game, tight end room too, that it would be a vital part of the offense next year for your Cleveland Browns under Coach Todd Monken. Here is Coach on how the screens can be worked into his offense.
All right, screens. The times I've been really good at screens, we've looked at it like it's a run play. At times you get really pissed off. You're like, it only gained 3 yards, 4 yards. Then it gained 8. Look at it like a run play. How many times you threw on the perimeter. Plus, the biggest thing now is it's happened. It happens in the NFL, but it really happens in college. Like we started to realize, guys, if we don't spit the ball in the perimeter, if we don't get our skill guys involved, we'll never be the team we can be. I don't care if it just went for 5 yards, then went for 15. Where are they going to get theirs? Where are they going to be involved? Where do they feel like they're a big part of what we're doing? And then let's get really good at screens. Let's get it on the perimeter. Let's get guys out front. And don't be frustrated when it's 2 yards. You might run an inside zone and get 2, but you might gain 8. You might gain 10. You might get out there in front. Just do it again. Just do it again.
So y'all hear? Y'all hear what Todd Monken is saying? Sometimes you are running the screen to get them out of the defense that they're in. And it's not the slow developing screens that the Browns ran. The Browns rarely ran perimeter screens. They ran screens where you had to wait for the offensive lineman to go get in front. They did not run a lot of screens where you put trips to one side and you had 2 wide receivers and a tight end and you ran a screen behind it. That was not something they took advantage of, even when they would have 8 guys in the box. That is how you could get teams out of falsely putting all those guys in the box who are not pressured. Attack them on the outside. He says he used screens like running plays. Every running play is not going to go for a touchdown, but that doesn't mean you don't run the ball. These things go directly against EPA and what it tracks. So when I keep going back to EPA, the reason is because Jason Lloyd is letting you know early, this is what I'm going to use. I'm not going to use any traditional stats. I'm going to use EPA to show you this stuff is not good. That's what he's going to do. So he was laying out the trap. I just happened to see it. Most people who respond to Jason Lloyd, they don't know what EPA tracks, so they just throw the stat away. When I know what it tracks, I can call it out in real time. It's the difference. But that's Todd Monken coming from the football side. So I wanted y'all to see this wasn't going to be a time where we're just going to, the days of spending an hour on Jason Lloyd are over. We gave him his 4 minutes, and then we got to football. The place that they don't want to go is they don't want to get to football. The place that I want to get to is I always want to get to football. If I got to use Jason Lloyd as a topic to give us a legit reason to look at some more film, then that's what we're going to do. Because this game is mental and then it's played on the field. So Jason Lloyd going to say what he say, but we're going to go to the football and see if it makes sense. Now, we just put something to bed, and I hope you all realize this. One thing we heard all last year was you can't say anything that Shedeur has to work on. People who support Shedeur think he can walk on water. People who support Shedeur think he can do no wrong. That's not true. I told y'all what he can work on. Y'all told me what y'all believe he can work on. These old tropes, they got to go away. People who support Shedeur want to see Shedeur be the best player he can be. They don't want to see him anything headed to him. That's a mistake they made, y'all. That is a mistake. Let's get to what Boog sent me. Or I'm sorry. Let's get to what Zedric sent me from Boog. That's what we're going to play. I got it right here. Just so y'all can see how they working, how they looking at things. Let's go here. And this is from a little bit ago. Let me change the view for y'all. I don't know if it has sound or not, but let me change the view so y'all can see it. Let me change the view. Let's go here. Let me take this down, and put this up right here. Okay, this is from Boog. I'm not listening to it. I don't care about their foolishness anymore. The ball is in our hands now. So all that they spewing don't even matter anymore. Control what you can control. They all about to get this work. Y'all see it. Shedeur working out, smiling, vibing, good mood. Shedeur has I'll say the city, because the city don't really matter about the city is not the media. Shedeur has the city behind him. He has his supporters behind him. He has the building behind him. He has the coaching staff behind him. He gonna do what he can do. He gonna make it happen. He's going to make it happen. Year 2 won't be like year 1, y'all. I started saying this a while ago. Hopefully y'all will see. We're going to talk a lot about football in year 2 because we're not going to have the side stories and the side narratives that we're going to need to talk about. We're not going to need to debunk reports coming from inside the Cleveland building saying Shedeur is this, Shedeur is that. We're going to really get to the football, y'all. We're going to get to the football. We're going to get to the football. And y'all are going to see who really want to talk about this football and who just wants to say randomness. Y'all going to see. Y'all going to see. Let me catch up on the chat. Where we at? We got that about the running backs. We got that. I think we're here. Shedeur and Tate will be must-see TV. I agree with that. You got two like-minded people, and the quarterback and the head coach. It's about to get dangerous, for real. Tate maybe, but Fanta is a beast. Fanta is a beast. Tate is a beast. I want all of them. I want all of them. Recipes for success starts with mentality and belief. Come on, man. Talk to him, Zedric. One thing that I've been highlighting is it's a different mentality in Cleveland. The Cleveland media hasn't fully got the memo. They haven't fully got the memo. I'm excited about this season. They will be back April 6th, y'all. Shedeur and the team going to be ready. They're going to be ready. Who were the All-Pros? I had to step away for a moment. The last All-Pro was Otto Graham in 1955, Maurice. On April 6th, right around the corner. Ready. Yeah, right. I can't wait till we talk football. I can't wait. The team won mentally. He won mentally. At the end of the season, he did say that. Yeah, asthma is no joke. I haven't had many flare-ups as an adult, but I can remember so many ER visits as a child. I was terrified because it felt like I may not be able to take another breath. Yes, and just Skattebo saying that it's not real is crazy. Sometimes you got to win the battles against self. Shedeur and Monken are like-minded, and he will help Shedeur with making explosive plays without them turning into interceptions. I agree with that. And then also, I just want y'all to be mindful. Interceptions are part of the NFL. Sacks are part of the NFL. They are part of the game. They will happen. So don't necessarily get too caught up in the sacks and the interceptions. We're going to break it down as we break down the film, but just they're part of the game. It's not going to be a starting quarterback who's going to play all games that's going to have 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. It just doesn't happen, y'all. So if you play your 17 games, it's going to be some sacks and interception. It's not the end of the world. Not the other team. Asthma can be a medical emergency. I agree, Charmaine. Shedeur was in the battle this year, going to be a breeze for him. Yeah, because he's not going to have outside forces that he has to block out and, worry about. Right, Boog, Ali in the back. Y'all know how I feel about Muhammad Ali. Y'all know that. Where we at? That part, Boog. I would love to also see him work on his quick release, getting rid of the ball quicker, because that's all part of the decision making and being comfortable. I guess once you get comfortable, I agree with that, and I think also the type of plays, the down and distance, all of those things are going to determine how fast you get rid of the ball. I think in an effort to put down Shedeur, things were highlighted that need to be viewed on a time-to-time basis. So they just want a blanket statement, hold the ball too long. There are going to be times where you have to hold the ball longer, where you have a long developing play. There are going to be times where it's going to be a quick answer. So I think they use that in an effort to take shots at Shedeur, but that's going to be on a play-to-play basis. It's not just a universal thing, always throw the ball this time. No, it's going to be longer plays. That's part of it. Talk D, we saw the crap that he was put through. No, we ain't up for that. The question needed to be asked is, what 3 things can the Browns do? That's really good. That's really good. What 3 things can the Browns do? I like that question. I'll give you 1 on defense and 2 on offense. The Browns got to win at the point of attack on early downs to stop the run play early, running early as a defense. That's what the defense can do. Offense, the offense needs to be more productive on first down. And I don't care if that comes on the run or the pass. For first downs, I want to see the offense average 4 yards on first down. I don't care how you get there. I want to see, I got you on Patreon, T. Anderson. I want to see them get 4 yards on first down so they can stay ahead of the sticks. And I want to see them be less predictable in their schemes. So a lot of things that happen in the NFL, people run the same, are less predictable in their concepts. A lot of teams run the same concepts, but they disguise them differently. So that's what I want to see. Defense, stopping the run on early downs, or doing better at winning the line of scrimmage, point of attack, shutting down the run on early downs so they can force teams into third and long. Offense, I want to see the Browns average 4 yards of play on first down. And then I want their concepts to be disguised better so they're not predictable. Those are the 3 things for the Browns. That's what I want to see. That was a really good question, C. Anderson. Really good question. I like that. Really good question. Let me drop this real quick in the chat on Patreon. I think they overly scrutinize Shedeur more than any other player, let alone a rookie who started 7 games. That's my biggest issue. Detroit Gemini, you are right. They hold Shedeur to a different standard than they hold any other player to. Any other player. They don't hold other people to the standard that they hold Shedeur to. I think they graded Shedeur like he was a vet. I think they graded him like he was a vet, not like he was a rookie. C. Anderson, I dropped that in the group chat on Patreon. Shedeur and Monken about to show and prove. I agree. Black Pearl, you know what it is. I can't go for that. No can do. I can't go for that. Hashtag New Cleveland. You know what it is. My son had an allergic Hold on. My son had an allergic asthma episode when he was 5, and that was the most helpless I've ever felt. To see your child having trouble breathing is the worst. Thank God he grew out of it. Man. Thank you, Marie, thankfully your son grew out of that, dealing with the asthma, especially severe asthma at that. So you can feel where Gerald McCoy was coming from when he said that. You can feel where he was coming from. He has some unlucky ones too. There's context. I agree on the interceptions. If I'm paying you that much, you better sack and make interceptions. For real. Right. The new OC said he wants to see the QB, after throwing 2 interceptions, lead the team on a scoring drive so they know interceptions will happen. They're part of it. Asthma, couldn't breathe around Chuck Norris. Shout out to you, Brent. RIP to Chuck Norris, man. Sad that he's gone. If sacks wasn't part of the game, then Myles Garrett wouldn't have broke the record. For real. I never understood all this Chuck Norris references. The Chuck Norris references like that Brent gave, been going on years. The residents be yelling, "Nurse, nurse." I say, do be yelling, "Nurse," unless you cannot breathe. No, I don't do them like that, Sharpay. Hall and Oates or Doobie Brothers. Isn't that? I think it's Doobie Brothers. Wait. No. I had a regular when I used to bartend who always played Hall and Oates, but I'm so used to just saying the song. Let's see real quick. Hold on. I have Daryl Hall and John Oates. I can go for that. No can do. That's why I got on my YouTube music. Let's keep it going. Once you do, you'll understand and like it, Marie. Hall and Oates. Okay, thank you. Yes, you're right. Dion, you allowed a distraction upon preparing for BYU. The media kept telling you the NFL wants you, and Travis Hunter flew to 2 game days. I recall they never asked you about BYU. Ignore. I need at least a quarter of the games where they bully teams. It could be a playoff team or a scrub, but they have to stamp themselves. I like that mindset, and I believe that's the mindset that Elton Jenkins said. That's why I called him the enforcer. Y'all like to call him Big Country. Y'all like to call him Big Country, but Elton Jenkins said he's going to be the enforcer, so I like that. I like that approach. Well, we couldn't do that this past season because that O-line was trash. Nothing to learn there, for real. Somebody put him in timeout. Hall and Oates all day. The basis, Tom T-Bone, woke is great. 3 developmental areas for the Browns. Improved the O-line. Improved O-line protection, strategic play calling, defense consistent, strong play. I like those. See, I like when we get to the football side of the conversation. That's where I want to be. I want to be at the football side of it, us talking about what happens on the field. A lot of people don't want to be there, but that's where I want to live. So shout out to y'all. What y'all think about this stream? What y'all think about this stream? We are turning the corner, y'all. It's a difference between the reactors and the people who create content. I've had times where I've been more of a reactor, and the past times where Jason Lloyd has said something, we spent more time breaking down what Jason Lloyd said and reacting to it. Now we can create content around it without making it the basis of the thing. That's why Jason Lloyd wasn't on the thumbnail. That's why Jason Lloyd wasn't part of what we did. He was a little part of it. I just highlighted the EPA side of it. But I believe we had a really, really, really good stream today. And you can have great streams without sticking just to the negative side of it. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this. I enjoyed this. And I self-evaluate, y'all. I look at it and I'm like, man, is there a different approach I could take to this that will be better? And would it feel as if it's weighing on us? And I thought this was a better approach. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Shout out to C.A. Anderson.
This is a foolishness. Foolishness.
You don't know what you're doing.
Oh my God! Wow!
I got money.
Shout out to C.A. Anderson. C.A. Anderson got something to say. Great content today, D. Blessings as always. Keep grinding. We standing on business with you. I appreciate you, C.A. Anderson. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I'm going to tell you all a secret I have. Since I edit my own streams, it's almost like I'm self-evaluating myself to maintain how I said things and get better. So I'm always looking like it's easy to go to negative side, but also you can use somebody else's ignorance to be to create a teaching opportunity. So I think that is a better approach. It's a better approach. I think that's a better approach. So hopefully y'all enjoy it. Great stream as always. I appreciate that. The stream was amazing. Shout out to you, Brent. Same to you. Have a blessed day. I had a ball. It was very nice. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, Ms. Brown. Great stream. Great vibes. Always over here. I appreciate that, Black Pearl. I always enjoy your streams. Thank you, Ms. K. Latika, thank you for giving these people show ideas, D. I told y'all they watching. Spread love. It's the off the record way. Even though we in this thing, we all do the same thing or we do something similar. I help y'all from time to time. I give you some ideas. They just got to take them and use them, though, Latika. They got to take them and use them. So I appreciated this time with y'all. I enjoyed the way we had the stream today. I really like when we were taking it back, just reminiscing of our childhood and how we all grew up the same way, basically. I appreciate y'all's time, and I respect y'all's time. So I want to make sure you enjoy yourself while you're here because I enjoy my time with y'all. Thank you to C.A. Anderson and Charmaine for supporting the stream today. Enjoy the next couple of days, y'all. They're going to say stuff. They're going to talk trash. They're going to try to pull those emotional strings to get you in mudslinging contests. But we're going to keep it on football. We're going to keep it on football, y'all. Enjoy today. What's today? Wednesday? I will see y'all Friday, 10:30. Tomorrow's paid Patreon video will be the video version breakdown of the plays that I showed with a little bit more in-depth explanation as they're happening. You know, it always looks better in video. So that's one of the perks of the Patreon. So definitely tap into that. I'll get that out to y'all on time tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful day. Like, comment, subscribe. I will see y'all on Friday. Peace, everybody.
Look at what I did. Look at what I started. Look how far I came, dog. I ain't had no guidance. I just did my thing, dog. I just went my hardest. And I'ma go hard regardless. Yeah, I'ma go hard regardless. Yeah. Ran in my check, I ran on my bag, I did what I did. Yeah. Ran in my check, I ran on my bag, I did what I did. Yeah. And how good they judge me, oh. But they
They're
don't
setting Dylan Gabriel up. Take the biggest L out of
Look how far I came, dog. I ain't had no guidance. I just did my thing, dog. I just went my hardest. And I'ma go hard regardless. Yeah, I'ma go hard regardless. Yeah.